Welcome to Love to See It, a podcast about a Bravo scandal that, like Scandoval before it, has broken through into the mainstream.
And just to be clear, before we get into it, Team Ciara.
In this house, we are Team Ciara. Full stop. I mean, who isn't? Like, there can be no sides here. Today, we're going to present to you a primer on the Summer House scandal, known to many as Scamanda. I like Scamandoval. Like, there are some different variations, but there's a Scamanda involved.
Yeah, there's a Scamanda involved, and I was trying to sort out, like, where is the consensus around the name?
Yeah.
And that seems to be the most commonly used shorthand, although, again, there is debate. But we did a Scandoval for Dummies episode on rich text a couple years ago, and people really liked it. So we figured with this gaping hole in our in our coverage, and also just like the many layers and like larger implications of this summer house scandal, we thought that it was worth diving into. And we are going to give you a primer. So whether you have been a summer house viewer for a decade or you've never seen an episode, you will be able to follow this coverage.
We want to prepare you for your water cooler conversations.
Exactly.
So first, a little housekeeping. If you missed our little dip into Bachelor Mansion Takeover and Love Overboard last week, scroll back in your feed. It's right there. Also, we recently moved Rich Text over to Patreon. So that's where you can find our coverage of Netflix's Age of Attraction, as well as the John F. Kennedy Jr. and Carolyn Bessette miniseries Love Story, which came out last week. So you can find those conversations and more at patreon.com/richtext.
Okay, let's get into Scamanda.
Let's
Summer
do
House
it.
Edition.
I'm excited that this time I actually sort of knew what was going on. I didn't watch Vanderpump Rules until Scandoval dropped. You had to really walk me through that whole scandal. I have watched Summer House since the season where some of our main players, notably West and Jesse Solomon, were introduced to the house. And so I have some of the base of knowledge here. But Emma, you still put together this whole doc because I was on vacation. So thank
Claire
you
was
for
on vacation.
thank you for holding our hands gently while you tell us this.
You do have the context for the most part this time going in. See, doesn't it feel good to just have accidentally prepared for this moment?
Yeah, it feels really good to be so actually devastated. I genuinely was in denial for weeks watching the rumors come out, like a lot of the audience and the cast. I was like, Amanda wouldn't do that to her friend Ciara. I cherish their friendship. It's real. And so the betrayal and the grief.
We felt it.
We felt it.
We truly felt it. Yeah, this is another one of those rare Bravo shows that I have watched since season 1. So you just love when you accidentally did your homework. It just it really feels good.
That's why you have to watch everything.
I know.
Don't miss a moment. You've got to have one of those like goon caves, but for reality TV with like 50 screens.
That's the kind of gooner I am. It's not a weird masturbation thing. It's just reality television.
My goon cave, it's for Bravo. Sorry, go on.
So we're going to start from the beginning. We're going to start with the basics, which is, what is Summer House, the show at the center of this scandal? And Summer House is a Bravo reality show. It first premiered on January 9th, 2017.
Oh my God, Emma, I just had to process that was around 10 years ago.
I know. I mean, 9 years ago. 9 years ago, but it means we are on season 10.
I kept hearing 10th season and being like, yeah, so it started in 2010, 10 years ago.
Will always, 2010 will always be 10 years ago.
It will always be 10 years ago.
Because time stopped when COVID happened.
Yes. No, that's such a good point. I haven't grown emotionally at all.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. Also, people are saying a decade of footage because the first season, of course, it premiered January 2017. That means it was filmed in 2016.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So Summer House has always centered around a group of friends, originally in their 20s and 30s. Now they range from like 20s to 40s, who all lived in New York City and spent their summer weekends in a large share house in the Hamptons. And that central conceit has really like stayed steady throughout the years, even as members of the original cast have gotten older. A lot of people have like cycled in and out over the years, but that is still the central premise. Most of what we see on Summer House is these summer weekends between the 4th of July and Labor Day. The cast hangs out, bed rots, hooks up, parties, and then we get like little glimpses of their professional lives back in the city.
Is this where the term bed rot comes from? I feel like I had never heard of it. And then they were
Is
like, we're
it?
professional bed rotters. I don't know. They're always just like in the
They're
bed.
always bed rotting. I mean,
They're
I
always
think
bed
that,
rotting.
you know what? Either it's where it originated or it just like really brought it to the fore for many people.
Yeah.
Because
So-
it's an important theme, especially of some of, honestly, the major players in this scandal.
Absolutely. The 10th season of the show is currently airing. It was filmed last summer. There's also a spin-off show featuring at least 3 of the core original cast members titled In the City. That has been shot and is set to premiere in the late spring. So that was sort of like, as some of these characters are getting a little too old, you know, like one of them has a baby now, one of them is in his 40s. They're needing to maybe transition away from the phase of life where they spend a lot of time getting drunk at a summer share house on the weekends. So let's put them in a new setting and spin them off a little bit.
The Valley, for example, has done very well. So
Yeah.
this was
I
a
was
good
gonna
idea.
watch. Yeah.
I mean, and now I'll definitely be watching. It is still slated to air, although, yeah, the implications of what we are going to see definitely are going to be really shaped by this scandal. And Summer House was originally introduced to audiences through a 2-hour crossover episode of Vanderpump Rules. All roads lead back to Vanderpump Rules. This is also why I
That's the
started
blueprint.
watching Summer House right when it premiered, because I was watching Vanderpump Rules regularly at that time.
Gotcha.
And we see VPR cast members Stassi Schroeder, Kristen Doty, Katie Maloney, and Sheena Shea all head across the country. They go to the Hamptons for the weekend, and they introduce us to the original cast of Summer House.
Yes. So whenever like one of the Toms or something pops up on Summer House, I'm like, why are they here? But it's an extended universe.
Yes.
So the Summer House scandal, it's apparently also been called West Mandival. I like that.
Yeah, I was like, really, it should be West Mandel, because there's no Sandoval involved in.
Yeah, but it's
a
like
scandal.
Watergate. It's like
Yeah.
Watergate. Like, I'm sorry, how
Like,
many
everything's just a
scandals
gate
have
now?
Right, and the gate only has to do with the hotel involved in the original Watergate.
You know
There's
what?
no
This is
gate
a good
in
point.
any of these
West
other
Mandival.
scandals.
Yeah. I know. I was a little bit like, Scamanda is the punchiest, but why is West absent from this name?
West is part of this. Okay. It broke as the season was airing. We're sort of mid-season. Episode 10 airs this week. The last few seasons, there have been 15 episodes before the reunion. So we're like really mid-season. And this story, this scandal, really affects how you're going to view some of the storylines that are playing out on the current season. So they did not pick cameras up to shoot extra episodes as they did during Scandoval, but they have been teasing like the filming of the season reunion a lot. It has not been filmed yet, so we will be seeing this addressed at the reunion.
So who is actually involved in Scamanda? I mean, at this point, it's like the whole cast of Summer House and also other Bravo shows like Southern Charm and The Valley. The ripple effect is wide, but really there are just 4 major players that you truly need to know about to understand what is going on here. Scamandaval. West Mandival.
West
Scamanda.
Mandival. So there's Kyle Cooke, main cast since season 1. He's one of the sort of central linchpins of the cast since the show started. It was like him and his buddy Carl, who were kind of the core members of the
Yeah.
summer house. He's a 43-year-old canned alcoholic beverage company founder, DJ, Peter Pan type. He will never grow up. He
Never,
just
ever,
wants to
ever.
party. And now that he is a DJ, he has another reason to party late into the night, because how could you not be out until 6 a.m. at a fan's house? Because you had a DJ set. So, like, obviously you had to go to the after party,
It's your
yada,
professional
yada.
duty.
So he has been with Amanda Batula for about a decade. He started casually seeing her in 2015. Eventually, she became his serious girlfriend. They got engaged in 2018, got married in 2021, and announced their long hoped for by the fans separation in January 2026.
Player number 2 is, of course, Amanda Batula. She was a friend of in season 1 and has been a main cast member on Summer House since season 2. She is a 34-year-old creative director and graphic designer and was, of course, brought onto Summer House through Kyle as his younger situationship / ex-girlfriend in season 1. They made things official at the end of the season, and so she joined as a main cast member after that. She is a member of the bed rot lovin' tribe of girlies. She was never into Kyle's partying. We saw her over the years endure a lot of mistreatment by Kyle, and also just like a lot of incompatibility in their relationship. And she really found her place in the cast on her own terms, not just as Kyle's partner, through her group of girlfriends, which included Paige DeSorbo and Ciara Miller. The three of them were coined the Bed Bugs. Amanda was also instrumental in the branding and marketing of Loverboy, the beverage company Kyle founded, and she launched her own collaborative line of swimwear last year.
Yeah, so she and Kyle have not had a great relationship over the years, and that is why everyone was really excited that they were finally getting
Breaking up.
divorced. So let's talk about the next central figure here, Ciara Miller, who was part of the main cast since season 5. Ciara is a 30-year-old ICU nurse and model. She became the first Black woman to join the main cast in 2020. She was originally introduced as a friend of former cast member Luke Goldbranson, who Bachelor Nation viewers may also know as Tayshia's ex-boyfriend. She quickly became besties with Paige DeSorbo and Amanda Batula, and they became part of this group that, as you mentioned, it's called the Bed Bugs. When everyone else is going out to the clubs in the Hamptons after they hang out at the house, they would hang out in bed and scroll on their phones instead.
Relatable
They were always
girlies.
tired. Yes. They always just wanted to be in bed, and I relate. So she's been known to be a true girl's girl. She's always had the backs of her friends in tough situations and in relationships with men. She's always been there to reassure them of their value outside of that relationship, and to really urge them to find a situation that's good for them. She also has had a lot of really tough conversations with her fellow cast members. Many of them, most of them, are white, about the realities of being a Black woman on reality TV. And over the years, she has been romantically linked to some other people in this televisual universe, including Southern Charm's Austin Kroll, and more recently, fellow Summer House cast member West Wilson. She's also been doing a lot of red carpet hosting recently, at the Oscars. She was on the Traitors US in season 3. So she's been breaking out of the Summer House universe, which is cool.
Yeah, she very much has star power, and it has felt like perhaps they are positioning her as the one who can kind of keep the torch of Summer House going if she chooses to stay on the cast, as some of the original cast members phase out. That is obviously now in question, given everything that's going on.
Yeah, she is a huge fan favorite, and we'll get more into her breakup and relationship with West. But first, let's talk about West. West Wilson, main cast since season 8.
So that's when you started watching.
I think I started watching because of Carl and Lindsay, that they
Yes.
were going to break up that season. Um, but I got to meet West, our 31-year-old sports journalist. He joined the cast in 2023, and he also became a fan favorite pretty quickly. He was this sort of like he's that dangerous combination of like not being super hunky and also funny and like dresses in an interesting way, and then he's like, "Fuck ice." And you're like, "Oh my god, other women might overlook how his appeal because he's like not hunky, but like he's actually great."
And then you realize everyone feels that way.
They're the most dangerous
Yeah.
ones of all. And he very quickly hit it off with Ciara, and they develop this friendship that leads to a flirtation that leads to some sort of like nebulous involvement. He wants to like hook up with her. She's like, I want to date and have a boyfriend. And that's what we kind of see that first season. But people started like really rooting for this sort of flirtatious, situationshipy dynamic to evolve into something real between these two beloved cast members. And that helped like kind of propel him into being a breakout star of that season. He also has been like seen as a pretty integral part of the group dynamic at this point. We see his friendships with a lot of other cast members, including Amanda. Especially this season, we have often seen him comforting Amanda after Kyle yelled at her or something similar. Before this scandal broke, West and Ciara were kind of central in sort of holding down the new generation of Summer House that was going to like anchor the next era.
So those are our 4 major players. Other names to keep in mind who will come up later in this discussion include current Summer House cast members Jesse Solomon, Lindsay Hubbard, Carl Radke, Mia Calabresi, KJ Dillard, former Summer House cast members Paige DeSorbo and Hannah Berner, who host the podcast Giggly Squad, and Southern Charm cast members Austin Kroll and Vanita Aspen. So just some names to put away for later.
So let's reel it all the way back and get into Kyle and Amanda's origin story.
So Amanda is first introduced to Summer House audiences, as I said, in the show's premiere. So she's been a part of this show since episode 1. She is Kyle's ex-girlfriend. She comes to the house for like a late night skinny dip and hookup. And I have a little clip of how she is framed in this first season. Here's a clip.
Amanda is probably the nicest girl I've ever met.
Hi. What's up?
She's sexy. She's smart. She's 9 years younger. She's not expecting, a ring like some 30-year-old chick in New York would. I just had an amazing time for her. 7 months before I called it off. To have like a conflict-free relationship, that's pretty rare.
So it's just a little compilation.
What?
So he's like, yeah, this younger woman, she doesn't want a ring like those 30-year-olds. At the time, Kyle is in his early 30s. Amanda is in her early 20s.
Your first mistake, Kyle, is that women know about engagement rings well before we turn 30. And just because you're not 30 yet doesn't mean you're not looking for commitment from a man. It's just so like, it's so like obviously using women from the mindset of like, how can I fit them into my life? Like, how can she serve my needs?
Correct.
Not
And
like,
that is
who is she as a human? How can we form a partnership that's based on openness? It's like, how can I find a woman who I can just put in a position to like serve what I'm looking for right now?
right. And as Kyle wants different things, Amanda should show up and serve whatever those needs are.
Yeah. And I'm so glad to hear they were having a conflict-free relationship. I've never witnessed that from them.
Yeah, I think the
Her
conflict-free
relationship is-
relationship was when they were quite casual and then Kyle broke up with her.
Yeah, it's like, that's so nice to have 7 months of casually dating a 23-year-old, and then I end it. Success. We never had conflict. If he could, like, have looked ahead then and know that he would go on to be in a 10-year relationship with this woman that most people think of as defined entirely by conflict, like, what else do they have in common aside from their fights?
By the end, virtually nothing.
Yeah.
So by the end of season 1, which of course shot in 2016, aired in 2017, they get back together. They become official despite Kyle's obvious fuckboy ways. He's like, okay, I'm going to commit. In season 2, Amanda becomes a main cast member, and her role as like hard done by partner to Kyle becomes really cemented. And it is during this season that Kyle delivers what has become like a really iconic line in the Summer House universe during a fight with Amanda. So clearly by season 2, he's made some sort of commitment to Amanda. The conflict has begun.
Yeah.
The conflict-free relationship is over.
Kyle, please.
Oh my God.
I'm trying to help you.
You're overreacting.
Please just listen.
I wanted to have fun with you tonight. What did you do? You f***ing prevented all fun.
Why does fun-
whatsoever.
Why does-
You are not fun. I want to have fun. I'm out of here. This is not fun. Summer should be fun. Amanda, not fun.
It's
I would
really
be out of
sad.
this relationship so fast. Like,
It's actually really sad to look back on
Yeah.
some of these fights. And it is interesting to track her investment in the relationship is kind of at its peak at this time. Like, she is so desperate for his approval, for them to be good. She's like sobbing, almost hyperventilating during this fight. He's screaming at her. By the season we're watching now, she's done and she doesn't give a fuck. Like, he will
Yeah.
yell at her and she's just sort of like, okay, Kyle.
yeah. Oh man,
It's bleak.
I will never be Team Kyle. I'm sorry. You can't convince me
it's
to
a
be
very
Team Kyle.
bleak origin story when you look back at
Yeah.
it. But
Yeah.
ultimately, the pair stick it out. They announced their engagement in September 2018 on Instagram. Amanda posted on Instagram, like, hey guys, we did a thing, a carousel. She is wearing a beautiful engagement ring. Season 3, which was shot in 2018 but aired in early 2019, which is, of course, after Kyle and Amanda had posted their engagement announcement, opens with the revelation that Kyle cheated on Amanda in their past. And he describes this as, a year ago, I was on a guy's trip. I blacked out and I woke up with a girl in my bed. I've never felt worse in my entire life. So, like, the beginning of season 3 is him kind of trying to make this up to Amanda, her trying to get over it. And again, they end up staying together, working things out, and ultimately get engaged.
Great.
So just a lot of like
that.
auspicious signs for the future of this relationship from the early
Yeah.
days.
Yeah, that's bleak. I mean, I didn't watch at that time. I saw a different stage of their relationship breakdown by the time I started watching, but like the idea that you have a girlfriend in this way that is truly only to serve your needs, and like if she is not being fun enough, then she deserves to be like screamed at, I think is just so telling of how a lot of men view their female partners.
Absolutely. And I think it's telling when you contrast it with some of the fights we've seen, which we'll get to in this season between them, where suddenly Kyle's like, Amanda is being fun, but not in a way that properly serves me.
Right. Like she's being fun by jumping into the pool, but how is that about me?
Right.
That should be more about me. So despite all this, she stays with him. And I think this is where like a lot of the lack of sympathy that I had seen for Amanda in the past came from, which is like, we could all see that he sucked and was terrible to you. So why did you choose to keep investing in this relationship? Was it about fame? Was it about wanting to be on the show? Was it about just like being so desperate to have a man? None of those are very sympathetic motivations, right? I'm never going to care more about that than I care about a man's responsibility to not emotionally and verbally abuse his wife. So that's more been my focus.
I agree.
But it's really hard to watch them together. So we're going to take a quick break. When we get back, we will dig into some of the other historical context and then into the scandal itself.
And we are back. So let's jump ahead to summer 2020. This is when Ciara joins the cast. She becomes the show's first Black main cast member during season 5. And as we said, she's introduced through Luke Gulbranson, but quickly becomes like a star in her own right, becomes very close with fellow cast members Paige DeSorbo, Hannah Berner, and Amanda Batula.
Wasn't there some sort of like love triangle situation with Hannah Berner and Luke that they tried to make into drama?
Yes, Ciara is introduced because she and Luke like had briefly dated, but she basically is over it. They don't like get like clearly they wanted to make more of that, I think, than there ultimately was there, and there's more drama ultimately mined just from Luke and Hannah's connection.
Got it.
And
Okay.
Ciara is kind of like unbothered by it. It seems like
Yeah.
Luke and Ciara are mostly just friends by this point, but I'm sure that production was hoping they could get more drama out of it. But she is just like a pretty good first season.
Yeah. And then she appears on the Bravo crossover show Winter House. This is apparently where she gets involved with Austin Kroll, which I have heard about their relationship, but I didn't watch it play out.
Yes. And Winter House pulled from like a bunch of different like peer group Bravo shows. So that's also why you get a lot of friendship overlaps between like Vanderpump Rules and Southern Charm and Summer House.
Yeah. Because they're just like basically making the same show in different settings. It's like these are 20 to 40 something hot people who get into dramatic situations with their friends.
Yeah,
What if
they're
they were
all
friends
like
with each
different
other?
flavors, very
Yeah.
distinct cultural flavors depending on the location.
And I know a little bit about Austin because I watched some Southern Charm because of the Craig and Paige breakup. Because Paige DeSorbo ended up dating Craig Conover from Southern Charm, and then they had a very public, messy breakup. Austin sucks, and that has always been kind of my position. All of the guys from Southern Charm are the worst, and I hate them so much.
Yeah, the men of Southern Charm, or at least the long-standing cast members of Southern Charm who are men, they end up only looking good because it's a race to the bottom among that crew.
Right. It's like, can you just keep your nose slightly tipped up above
like
the
Austin
other
will have a
men?
winning season because Craig is like so awful that you have to root for Austin to be in conflict with Craig or like Shep
Yeah.
or whoever.
Yeah. When I watched Southern Charm, I was just like, I can't root for any of these people. They are
And
just
what's
like
amazing
wall
is
to
that
wall, so
these
unpleasant.
later seasons are nothing compared to the early seasons
I've
of
heard about this.
Southern Charm that featured like a very rapey, like MAGA adjacent, disgraced politician.
Yeah.
Who was like in his 50s impregnating like a 20-year-old. So,
it's a cursed franchise. Okay. It's a cursed franchise. But Austin is another like eternal Peter Pan Bravo dude. He's, I think we would say less charming than West and Kyle.
I think so.
Worse politics, which contributes to that. Like, I think Kyle and West are often pulling themselves out of a jam where they look like a nasty piece of work or like a fuckboy by saying something like really thoughtful and progressive in public. And people are like, hey, I've always liked him. There's something about him I just like, Austin's not really going to do that so much for you.
Ciara and Austin get involved during season 1 of Winter House, which aired in the fall of 2021. And that connection ultimately falters because Austin isn't sure he wants to do long distance or commit to a long-term relationship. So they kind of leave things nebulous by the end of this season. It's like, oh, I'd like to see you again. We'll see where it goes. They, of course, also only filmed Winter House for like 2 weeks. So I think that felt like a little more understandable in the context of the short timeline. But it contributes to a pattern of what we see specifically with white men and the way that they view Ciara. This also plants the seeds for a love triangle between Ciara, Austin, and Summer House cast member Lindsay Hubbard during season 6 of Summer House. So this becomes, we're not going to get into the details, but it becomes like a point of tension. Like Austin will pop into Summer House and flirt or hook up with one or the other of these women, and they're kind of played against each other. It sucked. And there is a moment that people have been pointing out now that all of this has happened from season 6, a very like offhand moment that was largely just glazed over by most of the cast and audience at the time, where Austin refers to Ciara, to her face, as a Jezebel. And I did find a clip of this moment thanks to Instagram creator at Hey Mr. Brucey, but the audio quality was really bad, so I did not pull the clip for audio, but I'll just explain it. Basically, they're out at a group dinner, and Austin greets Ciara, and she's wearing a cute little outfit, and he's like, "What is this, you little minx?" And she seems to not know what the word minx means, and so she says, like, "Minx? Like, what's that?" He does not explain himself. Instead, he follows up with, "You little Jezebel."
I can't, like,
It's very odd.
there are layers of how disgusting this is, but like, even minx is like such an archaic form of
It's like
sexism.
just Harry Jowsey.
Like yeah, Harry Jowsey might do it, and I find him disgusting also.
Right.
But like, there's something about that that's so like, I'm calling you a trollop, but in a nice way. You know, it's like so archaic.
Yeah, it's
and
a
like,
trollop, but like as a compliment. You should be
Right.
grateful. It's like his tone is very like,
It's like
ooh.
but it's like degrading
It's
language.
degrading and objectifying.
And then, of course, there's Jezebel, which is racist.
Yeah, it's a very deeply racialized term. It is a term historically wielded against Black women, like from the time of like U.S. slavery, framing them as lascivious, conniving, hypersexual, manipulative. And it's basically been used to justify sexual violence against Black women and cut down the legitimacy of their power or like claims to power. I mean, a recent example is that this was used to describe Kamala Harris by a right-wing pastor after the 2024 election.
And in this scene, like, I've seen the clip, he's being like flirty. He's like trying to like brush up on her and like kind of get cozy with her. And in the process, using this sort of slur, this racialized, sexist slur, in a way that he thinks is like
Cute.
part of their cute little dynamic. Like the way that he views Ciara in this moment is both like, I'm flirting with her, like we have a relationship, like we're being romantic together, but it's so deeply interwoven with racism and misogyny, objectification, that like it's inextricable, and that I don't know how you navigate that. Like it's
a
just
mind
like
fuck,
really
and it's
disgusting to
something-
watch.
I think something that obviously has weighed on Ciara and many other people of color who join these like white dominated shows.
Yeah.
And it is just like just something that these reality TV stars have to navigate that their white counterparts don't. And I do think like this moment is really important to talk about, because also a lot of people, I think, don't know the history of the term Jezebel.
Mm-hmm.
So that meant that Austin was kind of able to throw it out there and like not be called on it and not have it evoke so much public outrage. Like it was written about and discussed a little bit at the time, but it was a lot of people pointing this out and other people saying, "Oh, thank you for educating me. Like I didn't know the history of this
Yeah.
term."
Yeah. And I think it also like on some level indicates how comfortable we are as a society with like women and especially Black women being like having to tolerate or be told to view as positive, like such a level of sublimated violence and dehumanization in romantic relationships that like, oh, he's saying
It's just like built into the fabric.
right. It's like when he says this thing that is so dehumanizing, it's like because he wants to fuck you. So it's like, isn't that cute?
And
it's like,
also
no.
ultimately, like, you're a young woman, so
Yeah.
isn't that kind of where your power lays anyway? You should be
Right.
grateful. And then, yeah, of course, you have that built-in misogyny, and that because she is a Black woman, there is that misogynoir.
Yeah.
And
It's
it's just
very unnerving to watch that
yeah.
scene back. So Kyle and Amanda get married in 2021. There are some COVID-related delays, but they end up getting married in her parents' backyard in New Jersey. And there's an episode capturing their wedding, which airs in 2022 during season 6 of Summer House. But their relationship keeps going downhill. West then joins Summer House during season 8, which filmed in summer 2023 and aired the following spring. And this is when he and Ciara meet and start seeing each other. So he comes in as a friend of Lindsay Hubbard, and he is a media guy. He was like recently laid off from Bleacher Report or something.
I think
I remember
unfortunately
being like,
that
why
did-
is one of these mustached media men on this show? Like, they are not celebrities.
Right,
Like,
but I
get
think
him
that's
off
also
my
like
screen.
unfortunately part of what like warmed me to him, because I was like,
Yeah.
he just another recently laid off media worker.
Yeah. I remember feeling conflicted about it because I was like, yes, but also, why am I supposed to think that this like guy I would see bopping around the newsroom, just like taking too many cigarette breaks, is like anything special? But
Oh yeah,
also,
no,
like,
it was like we
he
know
is
that
one of
guy.
us. Yeah.
We know that guy a little too well, and turns
Yeah.
out yes, we clocked him correctly.
Yeah. So Ciara is obviously even more cautious after what happened with Austin, and that, you know, on-screen flirtation relationship did not go very well. And so she is very clear from early on that like she's not looking to just jump into bed with someone on the show. She's not looking to like rush into a relationship. She's keeping up certain boundaries. But over the course of the season, we watch Ciara kind of open herself up more and more. And she will say, like, you know, there are certain things I don't really want to do just based off of flirting over the weekend. But like, if he asked me out on a date in the city, like if he was going to like be my boyfriend, then we have a different conversation. Meanwhile, we see West with his friends being like, how can I get her to sleep with me? She still won't sleep with me.
We have Jesse Solomon, who's the other newbie guy, jumping in to like publicly question Ciara and be like, when are you gonna fuck my friend West?
Right. Why are you doing this to him? He just wants to fuck you. Come on.
Just do it. It's really gross. It's really gross.
Yeah.
And yet there is a genuine rapport between the two of them that is like very infectious to the audience. It's like watching a rom-com in a lot of ways.
Right. And that's what a lot of times watching, you're pulling for a couple because you want the rom-com ending where he's like, I've been scared, but like I see now that like I shouldn't give up on a good thing. And you're like rooting for that good outcome. But a lot of the time what you get is the same fuckboy outcome.
Right. Because this is not a man written by a woman. This is just a flesh and
Right.
blood man.
And then you're like, why was I rooting for this guy to get Ciara? Like, he didn't deserve. He shouldn't have been allowed in the same house as her. So people were really rooting for them. And that helped propel him to being such a huge star. He gets a New York Times profile during the season. It ran in May 2024. Declaring him like the breakout star of the season. It was written by Jessica Roy. She wrote, "For now, Mr. Wilson is enjoying all of the adulation, but can he keep the good vibes going?"
Turns out, absolutely not.
It
Because
turns out the vibes were already dead and no one knew.
yeah, we didn't know. We were ignorant.
Yeah.
At the season 8 reunion, which was filmed and aired in 2024, it is revealed that Ciara and West did date after filming Wrapped, but that they have been broken up for months. Ciara says that she met West's parents. They visited his brother in Chicago. They went to a wedding together. They were fully dating. And then sometime in December, before the season premiered in February, he broke up with her because he didn't want to commit. And during the reunion, Ciara suggests that he broke up with her, quote, for show reasons, which West doesn't really dispute. He even says that he panicked about being seen as Ciara's puppet, and he was worried about how the Bravo audience is all a bunch of women, so wouldn't it be so hard to go to watch parties? The rest of the cast really disputes this,
I forgot he said all this
including
shit.
Amanda, who's I mean, I'm married to Kyle. He goes out.
Yeah. Famously.
Yeah. Everyone kind of calls bullshit on this, and Ciara and Paige really read West for filth. I did pull a clip of this.
I told you all summer, how intentional I was. And then not only that, I'm the one that kind of gets on for being guarded and cold. You call me cold to people. When
Who called you cold?
Who called you cold?
you called me cold to Kyle or something. Oh, Ciara's being cold. She's not speaking to me.
Well,
of
you-
course,
you
because I
did-
go no contact. I stopped talking to you altogether. Yeah, yeah. Because I think that's mean to take someone to your parents' house and want to sleep with them when you have no intention of doing anything. You wanted to sleep with me all summer, and you know how careful I was being and how intentional I was moving and how cautious I was being. Yet you got everything you wanted out of me, and I got literally the bare minimum.
Look, also, no one's faulting you that, you came on a show, it was about to air, it is women viewers, they're gonna love the new guys, you're all memes, there's so many DMs. We get the allure of that, but we are also her friend. So we see the allure of her. I mean, you'd have to be blind to not. So we couldn't understand how the fame and, the lights and camera were so much more enticing than, your real life.
Woof. I mean, I forgot how obnoxious he is in this reunion, but I'm glad that they both went in on him. But the idea that he's afraid of being seen as Ciara's puppet when he made the choice from early in filming to pursue her and to pursue her hard. It locked him into a spicy storyline on this show. It made him relevant. He attached himself to a fan favorite, which got him a lot of goodwill. And then he got
need her.
Right, he got what he wanted out of that. Now he's a huge star and he wants to go to watch parties and stuff, and he wants to do whatever the fuck he wants at those watch parties. So he can't be in a public relationship with this woman. It just, in retrospect, it seems even more obvious how calculated it is. I'm
know.
You pursued her hard from day one. And then it's oh, I'm going to be seen as Ciara's puppet. God forbid that people see your girlfriend.
I think Paige even says, what a lucky position that would be for you.
What a lucky position. God forbid that people see her as having any sort of power in this relationship or any sort of sway over you. What a terrible
He's a man.
thing.
He should have the power to fuck women who slide into his DMs. So West gets absolutely pilloried by the fandom after the reunion. People are furious at him, and correctly so. And to deal with this, he gives a second interview to the New York Times.
Great. Excellent. Good choice.
And he says, ultimately, I think I handled the reunion horribly and was nervous and said the wrong things, but I still stand on the decision I made. I think our relationship ran its course. I hope that decision doesn't haunt me forever, even though I still think it's the right one.
I mean, what do you mean you got nervous and said the wrong things? Why would you say those things? It's so much easier to just be I care so much for Ciara. I don't know why I just felt that I wasn't ready for more, and I didn't want to keep having a relationship that I wasn't fully in. I really regret hurting her. No one made you say all this stuff about how you were worried about being Ciara's puppet or you wanted to go to watch parties.
No, that was all
just do
of
whatever.
his own volition, actually. Incredible stuff.
I'm getting mad again about something that happened 2 years ago. So let's move on.
So throughout season 9, which began filming like less than 2 months after the reunion for season 8 filmed, Ciara is like fucking pissed at West and continues to hold him at arm's length. She's like incredibly hurt and angry about the interviews he gave to the New York Times. That second one specifically, she feels like he ran to the press to manage his public perception and that was kind of his main focus, rather than actually just focusing on her and like being honest with her about his feelings about the relationship, like both at the time and after the breakup. I have a very brief clip of a moment from season 9.
How embarrassing that you publish an article to reiterate the fact that you don't like me anymore.
Yeah. How could that upset her that you keep going out and talking to the press and being like, I don't like Ciara anymore. That's done. But like he, to her face, at least seems to try to weather this out by like letting her vent her feelings, express how she felt hurt. He does go like kind of behind her back to the others and be like, Ciara is being so mean to me. Like, why can't she just like let it go? But he does, to her face, make certain steps to like mend that relationship. But by the end of the season, it seems like they're kind of starting to build some bridges. They're in a somewhat friendlier place. And so the fandom starts to give West a little bit more grace again, to be like, okay, maybe he sees that he fucked up and he's like gonna work his way out of the doghouse. So this brings us to season 10 and the 2025 to 2026 era. So at the beginning of this year, before the latest season of Summer House started airing, Kyle and Amanda announced their split. After months of rumors that they had been living separately, that they were really on the rocks, they announced in January in joint Instagram stories that they had separated. They wrote, after much reflection, we have mutually and amicably decided to part ways as a couple. We share this with a heavy heart and kindly ask for your grace and support while we focus on our personal growth and healing. It feels ironic to ask for privacy during this time since we've always tried to be open and honest about our relationship, but your kindness and respect will go a long way as we try to navigate our next chapter.
So after the split, the public was very much team Amanda because, again, we'd all seen years of Kyle belittling her, seeming to take his own dreams more seriously than hers, and just like being a really bad partner. Like Amanda was constantly dodging rumors of Kyle's infidelity, some substantiated, some unsubstantiated. Like their relationship was a mess, and the fans were just waiting for it to end. And this left Amanda with a whole bunch of goodwill from the public. She even got a glowing profile in Marie Claire, which read, for a decade, fans watched her navigate relationship ups and downs, often hidden in the shadow of her partner. But the newly single Bravo star is ready to shine on her own.
Yeah, and this is a moment that could have been sort of an Ariana moment for her in a much smaller, more limited way. But like she did have a lot of people in the fandom rooting for her. And people love a moment of women stepping into their power. You know, she finally was going to get the divorce that people have been begging her to get for years. She was going to be able to launch a swim line. I mean, she launched a swim line, but like she was going to be able to like have a swim line without having to argue with her husband over whether it was okay for her to do one thing aside from help him with his company, his failing alcoholic soda company. Like she was going to get to be the star of her own life. And people love seeing a woman come out of a bad relationship and become the star of her own life. And it's really incredible how quickly she fumbled that opportunity. But
truly incredible stuff. It should be studied. In fact, we kind of are studying it right
We're studying it right now.
Something that also feels very notable in retrospect is the way that Amanda specifically gushes about both Ciara and West during this interview with Marie Claire. She says, it would have been a very difficult summer to get through without Ciara. She is one of the kindest, most loving, loyal friends I've ever had. She sends me texts out of the blue reminding me how strong, powerful, smart, and kind I am. I don't think she even realizes how much I need those texts. It's also meant so much to me how supportive West has been throughout the season, sometimes in ways I wasn't even aware of when filming. It's not performative, it's just really authentic to who West is. He checks Kyle, puts him in his place, and you'll continue to see him be there for me throughout the season. Wow.
Interesting.
The
So
layers.
these are like the two people that she really cites specifically as being so crucial to supporting her, and yet she ends up handling those relationships in very different ways. So season 10 is airing now. It filmed last summer, and so everyone knew we were going to probably see the death rattle of Kyle and Amanda's marriage by the point that it started airing. And it is like there's nothing left. Amanda seems over it, checked out, like she's already mentally decided that it's over. Like it did remind me of Jesse on Secret Lives of Mormon Wives, who kept being like, I'm just not ready to file for divorce today. Like,
But I certainly will be.
exactly. Like every time that Amanda speaks to Kyle, you can just tell she doesn't expect to be married to this man forever. They're clashing over his burgeoning DJ career. Like she really feels like, and that's how it seemed to me too. Like he just came up with this DJ idea in response to her saying that she wanted to take a little time away from his company Loverboy in order to launch her own swim line, which was a personal dream of hers. And he's like, well, I want to be a DJ. And like suddenly he is a
He
DJ and
is?
he's never home and he's always just like out late or touring.
Also, she points out like the two things I've asked him over and over to do is like drink less and be out late less. And now he has
Yeah.
a career where those things are central.
Right. And she also brings up at one point this season, like, I know someone who has a friend who's a DJ who's married and has a kid, and he just comes home after his set, and Kyle doesn't do that.
Right. And like doesn't drink during his sets.
Right. It's just become an excuse for him to continue the behaviors that I've told him for years repeatedly are like ruining our relationship. And Kyle's position is our relationship is not flailing because of my drinking. It's because Amanda sucks and is mean to me and is driving me to drink by not being fun enough, and we don't have enough sex and we don't have enough chemistry, and like, you know, that's why I have to drink. And so it's a snake eating its tail. But he's also like, I don't know what you want from me. And like, she's been telling you that she wants you to stop drinking for a really long time. And it's like, you can't hear her. It's like selective deafness.
And it's clear that it's just too late. Like,
Yeah.
this relationship is over. And Ciara and West are, in fact, incredibly supportive of Amanda throughout the season. They both separately at different times encourage her to understand and that she really deserves better. During episode 3, Ciara literally cries with Amanda during a scene that is now like truly difficult to watch back, given what we know now.
I'm not saying he's a bad guy, but you do deserve better.
No, you're right. But no, sometimes I just don't know if I'd ever be good enough for someone else.
Amanda, why do you think that?
I don't know.
You're so special and you're so kind and like love so fiercely and you are so loyal.
It's okay. I love you.
I love you too.
I hate that these are the thoughts even circulating in her head because they're not true.
I just want you to know if you ever need to talk, want to talk, need somewhere to go.
You know, I think about it all the time.
I love you.
I love you too.
If I could shake Amanda and get her to like step outside of her body and look at herself from my point of view and everyone else's point of view, like I feel like we could find her like a new husband in a year.
Yikes. I really feel like Ciara is projecting complimentary in that scene. Like everything that she says about Amanda is true of Ciara. But I don't know if we really have any basis for believing that most of those things are true of Amanda. And like, I'm team Amanda in her marriage with Kyle. But just because Amanda is treated really badly like Kyle does not mean that she is an extremely special, loving, loyal person.
Correct.
And Ciara is those things, and she sees those things in Amanda, but it seems the minute that there was an opportunity for Amanda to be disloyal, she took it.
It's a real fucking bummer. In episode 8, after a night out, Kyle gets extremely angry at Amanda when she hangs out fully clothed, by the way. Not that that would matter, but feels worth noting. Like by the hot tub with Ciara, West, and their fellow housemate, Ben Waddell, who incidentally was the Bachelor in Australia. All roads lead to the Bachelor.
Always.
And they like unintentionally leave him alone DJing in the living room. And Kyle just does a drive-by where in front of everyone, he's like, Amanda, you're the least supportive wife ever. And then says like, fuck you to her. And this seems to really startle Ben, West, and Ciara.
Yeah. And Amanda, too, is like pretty shaken. She does like leave and goes into her room to get ready and cries. And I will say, like, as I've watched this season, I've been like, Amanda is jabbing at Kyle a lot. Like, she is making a lot of snide comments. She's making fun of him in front of everyone.
At this point.
She hates him. And like in this moment, I was like, but she's not even doing those things right now. Like, why is now the moment that he's getting so mad? Like, and I think it seems like part of it is the accumulation of him feeling like she doesn't like him anymore because she doesn't, because he's terrible to her. But I think part of it is that he likes when everyone hangs out and like is a fan. Like, I'm gonna DJ a set in the living room. Everyone hang out and enjoy my art. Right. And they wanted to go hang out by the pool instead. And he's like, my wife should be making sure everyone stays and enjoys my set.
I also think added to that is this feeling that like, she's my wife. Why is she having a good time with other men?
Right. He keeps saying like she's having so much fun with everyone else but me.
And then he'll name the male cast members.
Right.
Like, she's also hanging out with Ciara, but he's very focused on Ben and West. And that feels incredibly telling.
Yeah. So West goes after Amanda, who is crying, and comforts her while she cries. And she's like, this is actually nothing. Like, this is tame. I've been dealing with this for 10 years. And West, like, comforts her. He's like, I love you. Like, he's like, you don't deserve that. He goes to Kyle and is like, Kyle, you need to apologize. It's not okay to tell your wife, fuck you, for no reason. And Kyle's like, she was giving me fuck you eyes. And West is like, that's not a thing. She wasn't doing that. Like, you just need to apologize. And Kyle, in classic Kyle fashion, sort of apologizes, but then immediately turns it into yelling at her again and accuses her of ignoring him when they're out and calls her a fucking dumbass bitch.
So
I actually thought this was worse. Like, maybe I'm weird, but like, I would rather my partner say fuck you to me than call me a fucking dumbass bitch.
I
was like,
completely agree.
Jesus Christ. That's
and
like
I think a lot of the
Rubicon
fandom
cross.
had that reaction too, especially because it was done in this like quiet, private way. Here is a clip of that moment.
So you want me to hang out with you while you're hanging out with all the random people? That's what you'd
I'm
rather.
only hanging out with the strangers because you literally ignore me.
No, that's not what you just said.
No, I'm letting you know how it is.
Okay, girl.
You dumbass bitch.
Yes, I'm a dumbass bitch, Kyle.
It's really dark. And I am struck listening to Amanda's tenor in this conversation versus that clip we played from season 2. Like the exhaustion that's there. Yeah.
Yeah. And we'll get into some of the conspiracy theories. I have seen a lot of people speculating that like that's because she wanted Kyle to yell at her because she was already having an affair with West and they wanted to like form a narrative around it and like justify. And she was actually happy that he was yelling at her. I don't know. I think that it's also very plausible that she's just completely over it and it doesn't affect her anymore. And I think with Kyle, we're seeing someone who has been used to being in control of this relationship. And because he is her anchor in the house, he gets to kind of set the terms by which she's allowed to be there. Like, she pays her tax by being most attentive to him, by deferring the most to him. Now that she feels like she is equally rooted in the house, like her friendships in the house are just as strong as his. A lot of the younger cast are closer to her in age. Like, they've developed over many years very close relationships. She doesn't feel like she needs to defer to him in the house anymore. And you can also say, well, she was so like desperate for fame that she was willing to take anything from him, and that's not very flattering, right? But it's not flattering for him either that he sought someone out that he felt he had that leverage over, that he could have her be this sort of perennial fan and fun amplifier because he held the power in their relationship. He feels that it's slipping away, and it's making him lash out.
Here's the thing. You might start dating a 23-year-old woman. She's going to age.
Yeah, she's not going to be 23 and desperate forever. So another major plot line of the season is that now that Ciara and West are like back on okay terms, it quickly starts to seem like maybe the spark is rekindling. He is starting to get flirty with her again. He admits that he misses her to some of the others. And they're like, would you say it to her? And he's like, I don't know how to like say that. He's being weird about it still. He's always weird and cagey with Ciara. At one point he calls her his nighttime crush. Like, what does that even mean? Like,
Ew.
he's starting to like get a little more touchy with her. When she is responsive to that, he's very excited, but it never seems to progress to like him having a real conversation with her about it. At one point he like sits on her during a party, and she's like, when West sits on you, that means he's got a crush. So West has a crush on me, but like, why now? He doesn't tell her. Like, he's just starts acting weird around her and leaves her to kind of sort through that, right? He's like just coming up to her and just like poking her in the side. And they both are starting to wonder like what's going on. And she's processing it with her friends. He's processing it with his friends. I think we have a little clip of this.
Last night, Wes was like touching you.
Yeah.
And rubbing your back. And like.
I feel like he's just been like overly flirty with me this weekend.
Really?
You were like grabbing Ciara's leg like the whole game.
Stop.
Maybe you've been too nice to him.
That is it. I've been too nice.
Oh, yikes. There is always like a little something there. But I still haven't had like a real conversation with Ciara, so like I don't truly know anything. Maybe she's at the point now where like this is something, but I don't know.
Why don't you try talking to her, West?
It's just so maddening to see how much work is put on her to manage the boundaries of this relationship.
Why don't I know how she feels? Have I asked her? Certainly not. Have I expressed how I feel? Certainly not. Why doesn't she tell me?
And also, she's supposed to be curating like the exact perfect level of friendliness to him that will be, everyone will agree is appropriate. Like, at first she's being too mean because she's trying to set these boundaries. He's like, why won't she talk to me? Why won't she be friendly with me anymore? She doesn't have to be so cold. Then she starts warming up, and suddenly he's like, oh, it's so weird how friendly she's being. What do I make of that? Even her friends are like, you've been too nice to him. And I think that like they want to encourage her to set the boundary that she's comfortable with. But I think it's just emblematic of how hard it is for her to actually curate that relationship.
All the labor is on her.
Right.
At every turn.
Even she has to be the one to set the signal.
Even though the history here is one where she has been wronged over and over again by him. She has been hurt. The onus should be on him.
But instead what happens is like he complains about her boundary. He goes around to everyone and is like, why is she being like this? She warms up and he starts being like, oh, so I can push this forward, right? Like she's let up a little bit. Now I get to test the boundary. So like she can never just relax because he's always trying to fuck with her boundary.
It's
like,
maddening.
leave her the fuck alone.
Also, an added layer to this dynamic is that early in the season, Jesse Solomon is flirting aggressively with Ciara and asks West for permission, quote unquote, to make out with her. And given that she has like repeatedly said she doesn't share her body easily with people and that she is looking for something with intention, a real relationship, she is understandably very offended when this gets back to her. They ultimately talk through things and kind of like make up tentatively as friends. But all of this is just indicative of a pattern that Ciara consistently experiences and has spoken about. White men viewing her as like a sexually available object there to fulfill their needs rather than a like full human worthy of committing to, protecting, caring for.
Yeah. And this is something she's been talking about more openly. Like in press, like everyone talks about how gorgeous I am and how desirable I am, but I'm more than that. Like they really just see me in this way, like I'm this beautiful person to like try to hook up with and not as this fuller, more complex person. And I also think that is another place where a lot of additional work is put on her to manage boundaries because she can't enjoy flirting and being fun with the guys without it being taken as like, oh, I might be able to fuck her. Like, can I get in on that? Like, they're always waiting for an opportunity to get some from her in this way that feels very just predatory, like not in like they're predators, but like it just feels more like they're looking for an opportunity to like exploit that opening rather than you could go to West privately one-on-one and say, I want to approach Ciara and ask her out. We've built this really great bond as friends. I'm also like really attracted to her, but because of our friendship, I've never approached her. How would you feel if I were to do that? Instead, he goes to West in front of a bunch of other guys and is like, what if we made out? Haha, but it would be a joke. I don't know. She's just so hot. Like, that's not respectful to Ciara.
Right, which is what Ciara says to him directly. She's like, you're framing it as a joke. You didn't ask if you could ask me on a date.
Right.
And Jesse then is like all freaked out. And he's like, oh yeah, I guess I like don't know what I'm looking for.
Right. It's like, dude.
Fuck you, dude.
And this, he just saw West go through this where he fucked around with Ciara and like really hurt her and humiliated her. And he learned literally less than nothing from that.
No, these men can't. They are incapable. So as you said, Ciara has been speaking more openly about the realities of dating these men, these white men, in the public sphere, being a Black woman on reality television. And during the end of episode 7 of this season of Summer House, Ciara, along with her fellow Black cast members, Mia and KJ, open up to their white castmates about these experiences. And it's like an incredibly moving scene, and I think not the type of thing that a lot of viewers had like seen featured on Bravo before. So it made a very big impact. We don't have time to like play the full scene. I highly recommend going back and watching this if you haven't seen the episode. But a notable part of the conversation is specifically about the racialized blowback that Ciara has received for dating white men who treat her poorly on television. And she specifically speaks about the complexities of her relationship with West.
I don't think you guys also realize the interracial aspect that exists. And like all of the that goes on. It's like I get a lot of blowback that's like very racial. Obviously being in this position, like I was the first Black person in this house, and then dating publicly, dating white guys publicly. It's like a whole contraption that I don't think you guys even understand or can even empathize with. The hardest thing with like the me and West situation is that like everyone's always just like, oh, you like let a white man play you on national TV. And then like, it's regardless of like how we feel about each other, it's like the way that it looks to the entire world. Yeah, I guess if I could help it, I would, but like you can't help who you love. You can't help like who you are attracted to sometimes. Like he was my friend at one point, and like we did have a relationship, and I know like we do care a lot about each other, and it's not just like, oh, fun and flirting. I do think we have a much deeper relationship than anybody ever has seen. But yeah, like I'm
quite literally bracing for impact, especially when this gets ready to air. Like, it's a fucking headache.
Yeah. And Ciara and Mia and KJ also talk about like the double standards they're held to, that they know they won't be given any grace if they get angry on the show, if they act out. Like even Kyle in this moment is like, yeah, I can like really pop off and I don't have that fear or that knowledge that you guys have that you'll be heavily judged for it. And I'm like, Kyle, you should get judged more for it, to be honest. Like, but it's true. Like he can do that. And a lot of people hold a lot of grace for Kyle and like think he's really a good guy and like misunderstood. And like every good thing that he has outweighs the fact that he has like a rage problem. And like that is not the case for Ciara, Mia, and KJ, and they know that. And I think that also plays into how Ciara is going to feel like she has space to act after this scandal breaks.
Absolutely. And in episode 8, Ciara talks to the camera directly. She says, if I'm going to have white friendships in my life, if I'm going to have white relationships with people, and I'm going to consider them my close friends, then we need to have honest and candid conversations about what I'm going through. And it's uncomfortable. Race is uncomfortable, but it's also uncomfortable for me to have to keep it to myself.
Yeah. And West and Amanda are both present for this scene, and West is like, some of this is directed at him. And I think it's interesting. One of the first things he does is he's like, oh, yeah, I know what you mean, because after the reunion, people told me I was racist, and that was really hard. And then, but then he does apologize and is like, I didn't understand. And Amanda gets up and comes over to Ciara and like hugs her and comforts her and is like, I love you. I'm here for you. And I think the juxtaposition between that scene and then the betrayal that we see makes it even more shocking.
Devastating. Oh, absolutely. And that's kind of why all of these layers feel important. On that note, we're going to take another quick break. And when we get back, we will get into how the scandal broke, everything that's come out since, and where we're at now.
And we're back. So what's the scandal that we've been teasing for over an hour? So let's get into it. Rumors started to swirl in like the Bravoverse the last couple of months, February, March, that Amanda and West were somehow romantically entangled. And we had talked about it to each other. We didn't want to believe it. No one wanted to believe it. Like people were asking other members of the Summer House cast, like, is it true that Amanda and West are dating? And they were like, no, they would never do that.
Yeah, it just seemed totally insane given everything that we've just talked about, like how close Ciara and Amanda were. And also the fact that there have been like other unfounded rumors about like Jesse Solomon and Amanda, basically like any man that Amanda had been seen out like grabbing a drink with, who's her friend in the wake of her split with Kyle.
I think that, and we saw this a little bit with Ben and during the season, that Ben even says at one point, because one of the other people on the show, Bailey, jokes that everyone thinks that he wants to sleep with Amanda. And he's like, oh, I can act a little more familiar with Amanda because I know she's married to my friend and she's completely off limits. And I think that a lot of men on the show have this sort of relationship with Amanda that's like, she is a safe hot girl to like have like fun with and like gas her up in her Instagram captions and flirt, and it won't mean anything. She's married to my buddy Kyle, and like obviously we would never. And so everyone was like, that's all this is, right? Like,
yeah, like it has to be. And also we don't want to believe it because this would be so hurtful to so many people. I will say that I had heard not any confirmation of these rumors, but like questions from my behind the scenes sources throughout this period of time. Like it seemed like people closer to the situation than us seemed unable to parse exactly what the fuck was going on. They were unsure, like, is there something more to this or not? On March 5th, the gossip account Dummies posted a blind item stating that Amanda and West were spotted out being, quote, openly flirty, allegedly even holding hands under the table. But also Dummies had posted other photos of West with women that he was like seeing. So again, this felt like a swirl. It was kind of hard to sort through.
I just like, to be honest, I'm like, I should have believed it sooner But I
Well,
just
I didn't
really
want
didn't
to.
want to. I really didn't want to believe that Amanda would do this. Like, I'm not like an Amanda stan.
But you just don't want to believe that a woman would betray her dear friend who we've watched support her for years and vice versa. Like, you want to believe that those relationships are better. You want to believe, like, I think we expect less because the bar is in hell from men. And you're like,
we
well,
already
these
know
men have
West
already
will-
fucked around. Yeah.
We already know West will like fuck anything that moves, to be honest. Like, he's always out here with a new, like, being spotted with a new person. Whatever. West sucks. I still would have been mad because there have been all these, he's been spotted out with Ciara. He's been seen, like,
yes.
There have been rumors that he was rekindling with Ciara. I still would have been mad. I'm like, don't mess with her again.
But this is like a betrayal with
Amanda?
Amanda is like just next level bad. So both Amanda and West appeared to deny these rumors directly alongside some of their fellow cast members on a March 9th episode of Jason Tartick's podcast Trading Secrets. I'm telling you, The Bachelor
always comes back to The Bachelor.
Amanda said quite directly, quote, "It's not going to happen. I'm not touching any of my cast members. Love them dearly, but I'm good." She also later responded to a Bravo fan who had like commented, I think on like a TikTok, that, quote, "West is a safe boy bestie for Amanda because they'd never date. He's so much fun. He cares about his friends and they have mutual friends to hang out with all the time." And Amanda responded to this and wrote like, "Thank you," like all caps.
She does appreciate the comment. That I'm sure is true.
Yeah.
Kyle
but of course,
was asked,
yeah, people want to think like, yeah, this is what's going on.
Yeah. Kyle was asked about the rumors on March 10th on Watch What Happens Live, and he said for it to go as long as it has in the news cycle is kind of shocking, but no, I don't think there's any merit to it. And then he was pressed about how he would feel if it were true, and he said it would certainly catch me by surprise and feel a little reckless, and I think I'd probably be the last person people would be worried about. I think Ciara would probably have something to say. I mean, he does have an accurate read on who people will be worried about. He says, but if it made Amanda happy, I think I would just have to vote yeah, which is interesting.
Yeah, I feel like Kyle was trying to be like, I'm acknowledging I've made this woman's life pretty hard for a very long time.
Yeah.
So like,
and like now that he has moved on, everything about every part of Kyle's reaction to this to me gives I don't give a fuck anymore. Like, I'm not in love with Amanda. I don't care what she does. Whatever.
So now I can be magnanimous.
Right. Like, he's like, okay, sure. Like, date West. Ciara might have something to say about it.
Yeah, he is correct.
So.
Like, no one would be worried about him, but everyone would be quite worried about Ciara. But it was clear in this moment that like he thought this was bullshit. And I really think that the rest of the cast also did. Like, they, like us, did not believe that these two people would do something so fucking reckless.
Yeah.
West also denied these rumors in a March 25th appearance on Watch What Happens Live. But I will say, watching it back, the vibes were fucking weird. Here is a clip.
We still want to ask, hypothetically, would you ship West and Amanda? West, what was your reaction to the rumors of you and Amanda?
She's single now, and it's happened already to other people that she's hung out with. But
you were just hanging out.
Yeah, we were just hanging out in New York. She's single. I kind of gotta show her the streets a little bit, you know. But if it's not clear, that's a very important person to me, and I like care about her a lot.
Okay.
Yeah.
This is your homegirl.
Right. Okay. As opposed to your romantic girl.
Correct.
Yes.
That's what the streets want to know.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly.
No. That's a friend.
Okay.
Hope it's clear.
That's a friend.
What a weird way to put it. Like, he has to be led up to she's
They're
a
like,
friend.
no, but like,
and then
you
he's
saying
like,
she's your
that's
friend?
a friend. That's a friend over there. What?
Weird
No,
vibes.
that was weird. Even when I saw it, I was like, oh no, this is weird.
Yeah,
Like,
you're like, oh, okay, he's denying it, but again, the vibes are very off. And things reached a new fever pitch on this very day because Amanda and Ciara were scheduled to do a joint like Amazon live stream. This had been announced weeks before by a brand, and they ended up doing the Amazon Live separately. And it became clear that like something was truly amiss at this point, because why would they be doing that if they hadn't had some sort of falling out?
yeah. Like, at this point, I knew in my heart when I saw this. I knew in my
Same.
heart
I know.
But
People were
didn't.
like, certainly not. And I was like, guys, we have to prepare ourselves.
It was reaching a point where the denials that they had made were weak enough and the rumors were strong enough that it just didn't make sense that they would not come out more strongly at that point. And then the canceled live, it looked bad. So over the weekend, Summer House cast members like Lindsay, KJ, and Carl also sort of were fueling the speculation by posting shocked memes of themselves on Instagram stories, which many took as further confirmation that something was up and that they had gotten some inside scoop about the truth of these rumors. Even Austin Kroll got himself involved with an Instagram story he posted of some plates of pasta, and the caption is "Pasta and fuck your friends' exes are apparently so back."
So
Austin, stay out of this.
Yeah, Austin, we don't need you here.
You.
We don't need you here. Stop involving yourself.
I'm sorry, Austin, remind me of how you know these people again. Should we go back into the should we go back into the files a little bit? Should we check the archives? Oh, no, we already did that.
See yourselves out. See yourself out. If Kristen Doty wants to put on her detective hat, I am okay with that. But Austin, we don't need you.
But this definitely got the discourse popping even more. Then on March 30th, Ciara hosted the red carpet for the season 2 premiere of Your Friends and Neighbors, which stars Bravo superfan John Hamm. And she is like, "How are you?" And he's like, "I'm good. How are you?" And she's like, "I'm good. Well, I've been better." And kind of looks at the camera. Everyone, I think, knew what this was in reference to, except for John Hamm.
I know. John Hamm, I think, appears on Watch What Happens Live the next day when all of this really breaks. And he's like, "Oh, my God. That was crazy. I'm Team Ciara, to be clear."
He's like, "I didn't know at that time what was happening, but now that I know, I'm definitely Team Ciara." So on March 31st, West and Amanda posted identical statements to their Instagram stories.
Just an absolutely cursed statement. Also, it looked like West maybe screenshotted Amanda's story. Couldn't even be bothered to fucking type it out himself.
I think she wrote hers in Instagram stories and his looks exactly the same, but it's a photo. So I'm sorry, we all know that you just took a screenshot of that.
Dear God, the emotional labor of women for men simply never ceases, even in the midst of a, reputation-ending scandal.
So the statement in full, which I don't think Amanda wrote it per se. Maybe it was a publicist running some things
that frankly
through
should be fired. Yeah, AI may have written it.
So here's the statement in full. "We've seen the growing online speculation, so while this is still very new, we wanted to provide some clarity." They do not provide any clarity. Sidebar. No. "It was never our intention to purposely hide anything."
It was.
Hide what?
And what? What is the thing?
"Given the complicated relationship dynamics involved and the scrutiny that comes with being on a reality show, we needed a little space to process things privately before speaking on it. We've shown up for each other as friends over the years through all the highs and lows, and what's developed recently..."
What has?
"Was the last thing either of us expected. Our connection grew out of a genuine, long-standing friendship, which made it especially important for us to approach this with care. So why didn't you? As our feelings evolved, we wanted to take the time to understand exactly what we were feeling. We also
What are you feeling?
What are you feeling? We also recognize that this has had an impact beyond just us, and never wanted. I know, on who? And never wanted our actions to cause any hurt or to be perceived as careless. We truly appreciate the understanding and respect as we navigate this."
Again,
as we navigate
what is this? What is this? And I think people saw this and were like, okay, so I guess they're hard launching a full-on committed relationship. Because also, I feel like this is such a crazy, wild betrayal and such a just a bad move in every respect and hurtful to so many people and specifically to Ciara that you have to think surely no one would do this unless they were like, "This is my soulmate and I am marrying this person."
Right. And also, who puts out a joint statement with just someone they've
their
hooked up,
situationship?
Right? Amanda just put out a joint statement with Kyle 3 months ago, and now another joint statement with another guy. That's
It's
relationship.
staggering.
That's a relationship action, right? That's a commitment that you're making to be on the record jointly with this other person.
But this just provides absolutely no clarity. As we've said, this statement fails to name who they hurt, Ciara, and I guess like secondarily Kyle. It does not provide clarity on the status of their relationship. Are they together? Are they hooking up? Do they even know? Doesn't seem like it. When did this start? No timeline is given. What's going on now? What are your intentions? What have you done to mitigate the fact that you have been incredibly careless and hurtful? None of that is in this statement.
Yeah. I mean, it's so funny. Basically, the function of the statement is just to be like, yeah, we hooked up.
Yeah.
Like, we're not going to
We banged it
specify.
out.
Like, we've seen the rumors that we hooked up, and we're here to just indicate in some way that that's true. Like, it doesn't really say anything else about the nature of their
Correct.
relationship or how it took place or the timeline or like where it's headed or how they feel about how it impacts Ciara and I guess Kyle. Like, just as a confirmation that the rumors are true. That's it.
It's completely wild. And friend of the pod, Ash Talks Batch, wrote a great Substack essay about what this statement misses. Highly recommend reading the full thing. And she points out there is just no accountability actually present within this statement. She writes, saying they never wanted to cause hurt is not the same as acknowledging it, and they are obviously more concerned about the perception of carelessness than the feelings of the real people involved. This statement is not asking for forgiveness. It's reputation management dressed as vulnerability, and it failed miserably. Nailed it.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it is just like kind of wild to call out how important it is to you not to be perceived as careless. Like, well, were you careless? Like, if so, would you like to take ownership of that and apologize?
Right. And if so, perhaps the perception is fair.
Right.
And
we
like,
never meant
what
for us.
you need to.
It's like saying, I never meant to be perceived as a villain. Okay, but like, did you mean to do the things that led to you being perceived as a villain? Like,
and once you have done those things, the only option is to take ownership of them, to take accountability, to
you don't
name
get to
the
be
harm you've done.
Exactly. It's not to be like, oh, I didn't mean for what I did to be perceived this way. Like, people are going to perceive it how they perceive it. That's their choice. Your choice is the actions that you take, not managing people's perception of those actions. I feel like what happened here is that they've been hooking up and thought that maybe they could keep it secret.
100%.
Perhaps until such a time as they could roll it out. And I personally, I think they have different ideas of what this relationship is.
I don't think that they are on the same page
at all. My sense is that Amanda wanted to keep it quiet until they could roll it out in a way that would be more palatable, give it more distance, maybe warm everyone up to the idea of it more, and keep this phase of the relationship secret forever by denying it and being like, I would never, he's a friend. But West, I think, never intended this to become public. And then it's like all of a sudden they have to address this speculation. And it's not like they can be like, yes, we're together. So they just have to be like, yes, sex happened, I guess, or something in that realm. And whoopsie daisy. But like they can't say anything else about what's going on because they don't clearly agree with each other about what's happening.
Right.
And they somehow thought no one would notice that this was happening right now. Like, they've been seen out being flirty at bars.
I mean, it's the whole thing is so crazy.
Yeah. So on the day that the statement was published, Page Six posted a photo. Did you see this?
Yes.
It was allegedly taken, according to Page Six, 1 minute before this statement went out, which is just seems implausibly specific, but okay. Of Ciara sitting on the sidewalk by the Hermes store, seemingly being comforted by a friend. And like, this is when it started to feel dystopian to me. I was like, these people are watched everywhere.
I know.
Like, she can't even have a moment to sit outside the Hermes store.
No, like the surveillance.
Maybe her heel broke. Like, we don't even know why she was sitting down, but it's like,
and also
suddenly...
if she is bereft from this, it's just incredibly invasive, obviously, to take this photograph and then sell it to Page Six. I mean, the whole thing is so dystopian and depressing.
Yeah.
But of course, this statement goes out and the responses begin pouring in. I personally enjoyed Lindsay Hubbard posting a photo of Scammer Vibes Alex from Love is Blind and wondering whether he had been the publicist who wrote West and Amanda's statement. I was like, that's a good one, Lindsay. And I do enjoy the in reality TV reference.
Not enough uses of candidly to start sentences in the statement.
Also, we know where Alex would have written his statement realistically. ChatGPT.
Yeah. So also Dave Portnoy responded. I guess they're all friends. I'm like, why are you guys hanging
Dave
out
Portnoy
with
just has his fucking
Barstool?
hands in everything that Barstool sports creep.
Well, he employs Brianna Chicken Fry,
Correct.
who has a show on his network, and she is friends with West and Amanda.
I think,
And-
predominantly West, but has been hanging out with Amanda also.
Yeah. Oh, interesting. And he went on X, Dave Portnoy, and was like, old news. Like, Brianna Chicken Fry told me about this at the Super Bowl, which was on February 8th.
And
I'm
notably,
like,
West was at the Super Bowl with Ciara.
yeah. I remember seeing them photographed together, and I was like, oh, maybe they're rekindling.
Same. I'm like, ooh, are they rekindling? Ooh, they're on good terms. That's so nice.
Which is just like, even if that's not true, the fact that he was going out with her publicly, like fueling those rumors that, of course, the fans love, like, give it another shot, guys. Like, while he was sneaking around with Amanda, like, really pisses me off.
Yeah.
But,
and
like,
again, we don't know the timeline of when these various relationships began, but like, the whole thing is so depressing. And even more depressing, I found, was what Vanita Aspen, the sole Black woman cast member on Southern Charm, who is very close friends with Ciara, posted on her Instagram stories right after the statement came out. She posted, "Imagine making a statement hard launching a, quote, connection and not even considering apologizing to the person you hurt. But I guess that tracks." And I was like, excuse me, what? Like,
Ugh.
Ciara has not received an apology?
Yeah.
I mean, that's fucking disgusting. I have
I
since
hope
read.
that's not true.
Me too. I've since read reports that Amanda had given Ciara a heads up that this, in some capacity, that this statement was coming. Who knows exactly what she said to her. And I've also read that West has reached out to like no one except, I guess, Kyle.
Yeah, he apparently sent a half-assed text to Kyle, according to Kyle. Yeah, so
but this sucks. This fucking sucks.
Yeah. So let's talk about like why this was such a big deal and where this like fits into the pantheon of reality TV scandals. I mean, it's been huge in the Summer House fan base. I think it has broken through to some extent outside
I mean, I knew
of it.
it broke through when I started getting like texts and Instagram DMs from acquaintances being like, can you explain this to me?
Yeah. And I think that there are elements that from the outside make it harder to understand than Scandoval as a scandal, because in Scandoval you can just be like, this reality star was cheating on his live-in girlfriend of a decade with their good mutual friend for like an entire year.
Right.
And
There's
people are
less
like, oh
of
my
a
God,
log line
cheating is
here.
really bad. Right. Like, I think that a lot of people who are not familiar with the show might look at it and be like, okay, so everyone was apparently single. Like, these shows are incestuous by design. That's the drama. Like, why is this so shocking? But like, if you watch the show, it is very shocking, to the point that like a lot of the fan base did not believe that it could be the case because it would be such a massive betrayal, as we've said many times. And there are like a lot of threads to this because these people are so interwoven and they have different kinds of obligation to each other. But like the number one and the central one, I think, to a lot of viewers is like that Amanda and Ciara were very, very close.
Yeah.
And they had been comforting each other through relationship drama. And like, that is a kind of betrayal that is not as publicly recognized as cheating on your partner. But I think that if you had ever had a friend do that to you, it would not be hard to understand how hurtful that could be.
Yeah, and I think that that's why there's a reason that a lot of women watching this are like, that's worse.
Right. Like a lot of us, I think, I know probably most women in my life have been fucked over by a guy at some point, but a friend dating the ex of a very good friend, especially an ex with whom it ended badly, like who
And
maybe didn't.
recently.
And recently, that's not something that I like have really seen in any of my close friend circles. It's so taboo. Like the thought of dating one of my friend's exes is just like they immediately get put into a non-sexual category in my mind when they date my friend.
Right.
And like,
and it is the kind of thing that if it were to happen, you would expect like many honest and difficult conversations between the friends before any lines were crossed, right? At bare minimum. Like you would expect it not to happen. And if it did, you would expect it to be like a whole thing that was very carefully addressed.
Right. Especially because like Ciara and Amanda were very close. Amanda's on the record publicly praising how much Ciara has supported her through her separation. It starts to feel to me almost like an act of aggression against your friend to do this. Like it seems like a conscious act of aggression. And
it's cruel.
There hasn't been any conflict or mistrust or betrayal in that relationship. Ciara has been such a good and solid friend for her that it's like to see that aggression come out of nowhere is like really shocking. Like no one made her do that. There are so many men she could have dated that would not have felt like a swipe at her friend.
So many.
There's so many media fuck boys with little mustaches in New York City.
I've seen so many of them personally.
I could hook you up with some. You don't want them, but like you don't want Wes either. Yeah. Like they all suck. But like they're out there. So it does feel like a personal attack that you would do that to your friend who has done nothing but try to build you up and be like, put yourself first. You deserve it. You deserve to be treated better.
I also think a lot of viewers were watching being like, Amanda, this is your opportunity to step into your power and be a full person in your full adulthood, not defined by a mediocre man. And you have this like group of solid relationships with other women to bolster you as you like enter this new phase. And so it felt like so deeply just gross and disappointing to watch this happen.
It really kind of feels like a lot of the viewers always kind of wondered, like, well, is Amanda on some level, does she suck? And we just don't see it because Kyle is so terrible to her. Like, if she stood on her own 2 feet, would we see that the problem is that she is too focused on having a man, that like she doesn't have anything for herself? And she just like sort of immediately confirmed that theory in a way that like it's almost like she just ripped off the mask and she was like, "Baha, I've never been a girl's girl," you know? Like I've always just been willing to do whatever it will take to get the man to pick me. Like that, I do think that's part of it, that people are hoping that she would show a more complete self now that she's kind of free of this shitty husband. And instead she was like, nope, that's all there ever was. It's just a woman willing to kind of put up with stuff so she could have whatever man was available. And it is really disappointing. Like it's the betrayal to the audience of like the Ariana hope that's like, you're going to take this model and like step into your power. And like Ariana found love again, but she wasn't defined by her relationship again. Like, you know, she became a figure in her own right.
Ariana is the star, unquestionably.
And Amanda couldn't even be single for like 6 months to figure herself out.
It's so bad.
I also feel like I'm starting to see people now take Kyle's side, which I hate because Kyle sucks. And like he has a certain appeal. He has a certain likability and charm. And I think he was really poised to benefit from people turning on Amanda. And I'm seeing more and more people wondering if they blamed the wrong person in the marriage, if he was always just responding to Amanda gaslighting him and maybe cheating on him, which we have no confirmation ever happened.
This
Like,
drives me so fucking insane. And we were talking about this before we started taping, but the fact that people seem unable to hold reality stars as like complete and complex people. Like we feel this need to slot people into like, you are an arch villain, you are a hero. And it's like most people are somewhere in between and can behave in good and terrible ways situationally. Like both can be true. Amanda did something that is deeply cruel, a massive betrayal to her dear friend Ciara. And also, she was in a really toxic relationship in which she was not being treated the way that a person deserves to be treated in a relationship.
Yeah, I'm finding the reconsideration of Kyle in light of this really hard to take because I'm like, no, he still sucks. Like, it's fine. Amanda sucks too. Like, we don't need to rehabilitate
People
Kyle
can
all
just
of a
like
sudden.
suck in different situations and in different ways, and
It's like have a longer we don't need to rush to give a man grace just because a woman also sucked. Like, it's nothing to do with each other. And then there's also like the West situation, the West of it all.
I
Which
think a lot of fans are like, we made the error. We made the error of giving a man a second chance.
We should never give a man a second chance. And I think he has been getting less heat than Amanda, partly because a lot of people had already kind of written him off. But he had started to kind of work his way back into grace and was getting a bit of a hero edit for how he supported Amanda after that horrible fight with Kyle in the recent episode. And then that very quickly turned from what a good guy, supportive friend into, oh, okay, so he was actually scheming on Amanda, or they were somehow, maybe this is one of the conspiracy theories, like scheming together already to make Kyle the bad guy. Like, this was all just motivated by his dick at the end of the day and not by him being a stand-up friend. And so there is the betrayal, too, that West is making to Kyle, but also to Ciara. And we'll get into the many dynamics in a moment because we have to talk about let's talk about the racial dynamics here.
Yeah,
because I think it's
something
really...
that a lot of people are understandably picking up on is just the way that Misogynoir is wrapped up in like every piece of this and starkly contrasting the difference in the way that West clearly views Amanda versus views Ciara, right? One of them is a delicate, fragile white woman worthy of compassion, communication, at least to an extent. Doesn't seem like he necessarily has communicated everything to Amanda, but from what we've seen on the show, for example, worthy of standing up for, worthy of protecting and caring for. And it seems like West views Ciara more as like an enigma, a beautiful object, not a full person, sort of like a foreign entity that is distanced from him, that he is intrigued by, but that doesn't require that same care, attention, protection. And it's not to say that West shouldn't have, again, if it was truly in a friendship capacity, been there for Amanda or gone to Kyle and been like, hey, what you did is fucked up. Like, say you're sorry. It's that why wasn't that same care and attention extended to Ciara, a person that he has been in a romantic relationship with and also is now currently, as we're watching on the show, trying to explore something with again.
Yes. And, you know, I was listening before we started to Rachel Lindsay and Callie Curry talk about this on Morally Corrupt, their podcast, The Ringer, and they do a great job dissecting all of these dynamics. But they really talked about how telling it is that, like, with Ciara, he can never find the words. It's always like, how do I tell her that I'm sorry or that I'm happy for her or, like, that I want to, make out again? Like, how do I do that? Like, it's so uncomfortable. It's so weird. How do I even say that to her? Like, what if I just, like, poked her in the side? But with Amanda, it's like, he knows what to say. He's like, I'm going to go tell her that she didn't deserve that and I love her and I'm sorry. And then I'm going to go to her husband and I'm going to say, you need to say X, Y, and Z to her. Like, he knows how Amanda deserves to be treated. And with Ciara, he's like, it's a mystery. Like, what am I supposed to say to her? Say you're sorry, like, say you didn't deserve that treatment. Like, I know that it's hard to be the person who caused the pain, but, like, he acts like Ciara is a different kind of person that doesn't benefit from apologies or from
and that is
being
so
cared for.
fucking telling.
Yeah, it's like maddening, actually. Every time he's like, oh, how do I tell her, like, that I feel happy for her? I don't know, you just said it. Like, say it to her, to her face. Like, it's just like, do you think she can't communicate? She can. Like, you had a whole relationship. And, like, the even more maddening thing about this is that, like, this was made very easy for everyone, I think, to see. Like, because of this conversation that Ciara and KJ and Mia had with the house. Like, we all saw it. It was served up on a platter for West and Amanda also. Like, she talked quite openly about the high cost that she pays for being seen as romantically linked with West, especially when the relationship ends. Like, she gets so much blowback and criticism for dating white men on the show, and especially when they humiliate or disrespect her. And she communicated that to them, and they were like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. Like, they appeared to be listening. He does say that he understands better now. He apologizes to her in this moment. Amanda is like, I'm always here for you. She has been explaining how the perception of white men playing her and then dropping her creates so much pain for her and is so, like, publicly humiliating for her. And that's, like, exactly what they are doing to her right now. And it shouldn't be difficult to, like, make that connection because she laid it out so clearly. Like, he's going to flirt with her and paw at her and be like, oh, she's so hot. But he's never going to step up and say the things like a big boy that need to be said to her. He's never going to commit. He's never going to really make an effort to even be a respectful friend who just, like, gives her space and doesn't constantly try to, like, grab her waist or whatever. But then he's going to dive into this thing with her white bestie.
It's gross.
It, like, plays exactly into this dynamic that she named for them. And
right. She said it. She did all of that emotional labor. She dove into the uncomfortable conversation to try to create a space of true connection and true honesty with her white castmates, her white friends, her white ex.
Yeah.
And the understanding and the connection was not repaid. It was taken advantage of. And that's just incredibly, incredibly painful.
Yeah. I would feel like, I don't know, like, after watching that conversation, I felt like I really couldn't believe that they would do this to her.
And I think that's what so many people in the audience are experiencing, just this complete and utter shock that people would behave in such a careless way towards a person who has been so deeply generous and also, like, integral in their lives.
Yeah.
It's just, it's really disappointing. It's really disgusting. It's really, really, really tough to watch play out just on every level.
I think that's partly why I can't help but read it sort of as an act of aggression from Amanda and maybe Wes too, because it's like they know the stakes. She told them, and there was a decision made. It feels like with that knowledge of the consequences, you're subjecting your friend to that. It's really, maybe they thought that it would never be found out, but, like,
it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. a lot of Black commentators have been covering this very thoughtfully, so I do want to encourage everyone to seek out creators like, Rachel Lindsay and Callie Curry have been doing a great job. I've also been reading some coverage from Mikayla Bartholomew of the Black Chillarettes pod, RIP. We miss the Black Chillarettes. She published an essay on Substack that I really recommend, and she digs into a lot of these dynamics. It's called Summer House on Ciara Miller, Misogynoir and White Female Friendships, White Boys' Colonial Conquests, and Reality Television's Handling of Black Women. And the way that she kind of sketches out how this impacts Ciara in her friendship with Amanda and also in her relationships with the men, I thought was really fascinating. She talks about kind of the expectation that Black women will support and protect their white women friends, but they won't receive that in return. And she writes, I know her rage deserves space, but we can already see the insistence on protecting Amanda's mental frailty. Is Ciara bereft of emotional weakness? Can she not be hurt and be heard out loud? Is there no room for her to pop off? And I'm seeing already people saying that Ciara's playing the victim. She hasn't even commented on it.
Oh my God. I haven't seen that. That's Jesus fucking Christ.
There's so little. She's been playing it so close to the vest. And it's because to go off the way that we see an Ariana do, that must be a much riskier proposition for Ciara here.
Absolutely.
There's less grace given.
Ciara has to think 20 steps ahead, as she said in that conversation, at every turn. And even it doesn't matter if she's in a place of deep hurt, deep anger, as she has every right to be right now.
Yeah.
She still knows that there's going to be an added weight to an added ungenerous read to all of her actions.
Yes, 100%. And she talks about this expectation that Ciara should participate in protecting Amanda's mental health when Amanda's the one who harmed her. She says, this is what we mean when we say it is so hard to trust white women, white friendship, because is it real? Can you hold me the way I hold you? Or will you pay me dust the moment you find there's something or someone you can conquer over me? And it's really wild to see it play out so clearly that Ciara's this is what I need from you. This is what my reality is. Can you support me in that? And they're yes. And then immediately Amanda prioritizes winning the guy over that in this way that completely disregards her friend's feelings. And yeah, I really recommend the whole piece.
Read
and
the
how
whole
she breaks
essay.
down.
We'll link to it.
Yeah.
In the show notes, but
yeah, because
a great read.
There's a lot to unpack, and I think it also helped me look at some of the dynamics with West and Jesse in the house even more clearly, although I think that their behavior was pretty pronounced and hard to miss.
Even for white women, it was legible.
But it made it even more clear cut what was going on. That scene where West is feeling up Ciara's waist when they're all playing Spin the Bottle was so bizarre at the time, but I don't think I had full words or mental framework for what was happening.
I mean, it's bizarre to the point where everyone else in the house comments on it the next day.
That moment is so odd that it stands out. And it's this way where he's touching Ciara's body during a group hangout in a way that doesn't feel affectionate or tender or attentive to her. It's more he is not looking at her. He's coming over to put his hand on her, and it's for display to everyone else. And I was this feels so dark in a way. What is he doing? And now there are a lot of theories oh, he was doing it to send a signal to Amanda because he and Amanda were already sleeping together. Maybe that's true. Maybe it's not. But it does feel it was a way for him, when he didn't feel he was the most desired or central guy in the scene or getting the most attention, to stake a claim on the hot girl, to use her as a prop.
Very extractive, and objectifying. And I loved this line from Mai's essay. Ciara is good as a physical conquest, but when it comes to the communication, compassion, care, and genuine connection required for a real relationship, not so much. That's where the hyper invisibility reappears, because there's no room for us to be considered vulnerable, tender, or complex. She's an object. And I think that really like hits at the heart of what's going on in that scene.
Yeah, that line really made me look at that scene through different eyes, I think. And it's been like just watching the whole discourse between, different commentators and critics, especially women of color and Black women, has been like there's a lot going on this season that like needs to be unpacked. So it's been really fascinating. But all this is to say, like, that element is part of what I think makes this scandal cut deeper and hit harder, because it feels like a very specific racial dynamic that was exploited by the white members of the cast at the expense of Ciara and specifically by West and Amanda. Some people are like, is this as bad as Scandoval? It's not cheating. It is different from Scandoval for sure, but there is a reason that it feels like a similar cultural moment. I'm not sure if I would say it's broken through as much, but it's a similar cultural moment in large part because it speaks to this dynamic in a way that is very personal to a lot of viewers, and that is really like, yeah, just like really shocking and horrifying to see play out.
Yeah. So should we talk about the aftermath of the scandal? Like what has come out?
Yeah, we got to touch on that.
Because a lot, I mean, I'm sure something else will break in the like 12 hours between us taping this and releasing it, right?
Yeah.
This is just rumors and speculation, and reports are just constantly trickling out. But there are a few things that feel notable that have been reported. First is that West was allegedly in an exclusive relationship with a different woman and hooking up with or sliding into the DMs of at least a few others. Page 6 reported on April 1st that West was in a relationship with Maya Moreno that had become exclusive in the fall or winter of 2025. And West had actually previously mentioned Moreno, who was referred to as like Montana Girl, during season 9 of Summer House when they were like in a more casual situationship. He also wore a custom horsehair tie that she made during that like March 25th Watch What Happens Live appearance. And he shouted out his friend Maya specifically in reference to the tie during that appearance. And according to the Page 6 report, Moreno had no idea that West was involved with Amanda, and like he had allegedly said like the rumors are just rumors, until shortly before they put out the joint statement. Like that is when she found out that this was going on. What lends, I think, some more credence to all of this is that on March 28th, Moreno posted a photo from a No Kings rally with the caption, quote, "Fighting against all men with small hands, no moral compass, and loser tendencies." And after the West-Manda joint statement was released, Ciara went back and liked this post, and the two of them now follow each other on Instagram.
Yeah. And like, that's the worst one, but like things keep coming out about women he was involved with. And
yeah, there's a lot more.
And like, this does, I think, complicate the idea that he was like ready to commit to Amanda, which seemed to be fueled by the fact that they released a joint statement. Like, who does that with someone that they're not in a relationship with?
Surely they're committed.
Right. But they were just like, I guess, not actually committed. It's unclear what Amanda thought was going on. But like, whether she knew it or not, this means that she completely blew up her entire friend group in service of being like number 5 on the roster. Like,
it's so depressing. I was like, what? Like, this is, it's so depressing to me that Amanda would do this. And then I'm like, West, what's wrong with you?
There's a deep sickness there.
Yeah, like seek help.
Like both of them, need more help than the internet can give them. Like, there's a deeper issue going on. It was also reported that Ciara and West may have still been involved or dating in some capacity. Like, that had been one of the storylines of this season that's airing, that they were starting to maybe get flirty again. Is there something else there?
I do know that by the end of the season, we will see them hook up, and that at least like one hookup happened after filming. I don't know how long that extended, but like,
yeah,
certainly they were involved at least semi-recently.
I just like, does no one have any self-control? Like, do you have to hook up with everyone that you're attracted to at all times? Can
if
you not
you're
be
West
like
Wilson, I guess.
And Amanda too. I'm like, I'm sorry. Like, can you not just be like, I'm attracted to my friend West who's been supporting me, but that would destroy my bestie Ciara.
Right.
So I will simply live with this feeling.
Take 1 second to consider the implications of your actions. And
Have
you
you
would
ever
probably
denied-
realize this is a bad idea.
Like, have you considered denying yourself just one thing? Like, literally deny yourself something. It's fine. You'll be okay. The
Also, you'll like
Catholics are
find
right.
someone else.
Feel some guilt.
You can find another mediocre man.
Well, that's the thing. You just have to live with not fucking this person. Like, it's not celibacy, you know? Don't hook up with your friend Ciara if you're just gonna fuck her around again, if you're just gonna mess with her. Don't fuck your friend Ciara's ex who destroyed her when you know that will destroy her even more. Just live with that one person being off limits. I promise you will be okay. And they're just like, nope, I wanna.
Nope, certainly couldn't deny myself that. I mean, the extent of Ciara and West's involvement has not been confirmed, but we did get like an Us Weekly report with, some sort of insider source. And the article reads, quote, "The insider shares that Ciara, 30, and West, 31, were casually seeing each other and seeing if things would work out again recently, noting that his bond with Amanda, 34, quote, feels like a deeper betrayal."
Yeah.
So,
no shit. Yeah.
Yeah.
Jesus
If
Christ.
true, yeah. Noted. Makes
Yeah.
sense.
There's also been a lot of
Speculation, conspiracy
speculation.
theories, like, and these are all things that are even less substantiated than the Us Weekly report. So like, we don't know what is true, what is not, and I would encourage people to take these speculations with a grain of salt. It doesn't mean that like we couldn't learn something that indicates that the rumors are true, but like, we don't have that confirmation yet. People are speculating that West and Amanda were like having a full-blown affair that went back as far as June 2025, which would be before this season of Summer House even began airing.
Yeah. Like, there was a blind item from Crazy Days and Crazy Nights from June 5th of last year that read the seasonal house reality stars cheating on her significant other. Like, there aren't a lot of seasonal house reality stars who are women with significant others that could really apply to. So
right. It
that seems
I mean,
to
it seems
maybe
like it was
reference
referring to Amanda, but also these are blind items. So like,
and then people were going back through West and Amanda's Instagram posts like, oh, they look so cozy together. Why are they posting so many photos of each other? Amanda's wearing his hat. She's wearing his sweater. She captioned a June 5th Instagram post, "Broke my wedding vows." I bet she'd announce it if she... That seems like a reference.
Began an affair today.
That seems like a reference to the blind item, to be honest.
Yeah.
Like a joking reference. They're both using the same song in posts. Like, he's putting up a picture of their two name cards at like a wedding or event next to each other. And that's like one of his posts. Like, there's just a lot of like, they seem too cozy. How far back does this go?
Totally. And
we also have all of the seasons of Summer House that they were on together. And again, it's a very like cuddly, touchy house. So it's unsurprisingly a lot of moments that you can say, oh, well, like Amanda and West look really cozy in this scene. Maybe it was more than we thought it was at the time. Maybe there was something inappropriate going on. Like, why was West so supportive of Amanda this season? Like, I feel like some there is some idea that maybe they had already started an affair and they wanted to craft a narrative that Kyle was like this terrible partner in order to sort of prime the public for him being her supportive friend who then becomes her partner and people will support it. And like that's what people
I'm
then,
like, that seems really like sophisticated from two people who put out the worst PR statement I've ever seen.
Yeah, I mean, I think if that happened, maybe they would actually be together. Like,
Right.
it doesn't seem like West really had any kind of grand plan to be with her. He's not with her, as far as I can tell.
That's the
So
thing.
that's the main thing that makes me think that's not the case. Like, do I think that probably they were flirty and they were attracted to each other?
Yes.
Yes, I do fully believe that. And so some of those moments might be moments when they were pushing boundaries because of that, or where he wanted to support Amanda because he had a little like, I'm going to be the white knight for this woman I want to sleep with. Like, I can definitely see that playing into some of these dynamics. That spin the bottle moment is interesting that we discussed where he's like groping Ciara's side. Someone pointed out in the discourse that this happens right after Amanda got Kyle and Spin the Bottle and they shared a kiss. And like they have
Yes.
a long kiss and Kyle's like, I love kissing you. And then you see West in the background like pulling a chair over to Ciara so that he can publicly grope her.
I mean, it is so bizarre.
And I'm like, that is weird. Like, is he lashing out because he wants Amanda's attention? I can understand viewing the scene through that lens.
Me too.
It's all circumstantial.
It's just like
but-
we don't know, right?
Right.
Like we don't know his motivation.
Yeah, it's very strange.
It's what we know is that it's fucking bizarre.
Yeah. So I'm a little bit like put off by the conspiracizing because we don't know. And I do feel like a lot of it is being used in this way to like exonerate Kyle and to be like, well, Amanda was like gone girling him basically. And that's why he was verbally abusing her. He's been like that for a while. And like, it's just equally, if not more plausible to me that she was needling him all the time because she's just like sick of his shit. And this
I'm
relationship
sort of
is
like
bringing out the
Occam's
worst
razor
in her.
here is that she just was over the relationship with Kyle, was enjoying flirtatious attention from friends of hers, and then this developed into something more because she saw a different man who wasn't Kyle being like kind to her.
I don't know.
but
But
we'll
this is
see.
what happens when we don't have a timeline. Like people
I know
want
they
the timeline.
better provide some clarity during this reunion. Like, I mean, I do actually trust Andy Cohen to ask follow-up questions and specific
Right.
questions, unlike the Lachey's, for example. So I
Yeah.
do think we will be getting some account of this, whether it's the true one. Who
Anyone
knows?
can-
But
Anyone's guess. But it is like frustrating because if you don't tell us when this started and what it is, then obviously people are going to. I've seen people read back really far, like weirdly far. Years and years.
Years.
And,
Even when Kyle and Amanda were like in their like short bouts of being pretty good.
Yeah, like, well, maybe they were doing so good because she was having an affair with Wes and it was putting her in a good mood. I don't know. I mean, it's bad enough without.
Well, that's sort of where I fall. Is
Yeah.
I'm like, yes, sure, maybe there's more here, but it's kind of irrelevant because what we know happened is incredibly devastating, cruel, and fucked up. Like, we don't
Right.
need to invent new infractions.
Right. And we don't need to try to pretend that Kyle is amazing.
We
which
certainly don't.
I refuse to do. There's also this weird thing about the video that we keep hearing about. TMZ reported that Ciara found out about their involvement by way of a video that was taken from outside his apartment. They did not know they were being recorded, allegedly.
Which just like, yikes. Here's the thing,
Yeah.
not good to record people being intimate without their consent and distribute it. It's not just
Yeah.
not a rule of thumb. Like, don't do that.
Just because they did a really shitty thing does not mean it's okay to film people allegedly, quote, being intimate in apartments that are not yours. Like people
please
that have
don't.
not consented to that. Like that's really disgusting. So that's, and then to imagine receiving that video as Ciara, like I can't.
No, it's horrifying.
Ugh. So this is where in this TMZ report, it also says that Amanda sent Ciara a text saying that she never meant to hurt her. I guess maybe that's some sort of apology.
Jesus.
It's not really an apology. And also TMZ was told that Amanda said she wanted to sort out her feelings about West before discussing it with Ciara.
I mean, you could sort out your feelings privately before you cross any lines, but
no, you got to test it out. You got to see what's up.
I mean, yeah, I also had heard through the grapevine that like Amanda and Ciara share locations. So Ciara was like aware that Amanda had been at West's apartment various times and had been told like, oh, we're just friends. But that like there was suspicion building like within the friend group for that reason, which also I'm just like, imagine being so fucking reckless. You're like getting with your friend's ex and you're sharing your location with her. Every part of this is so just unfathomable to me.
Kyle gave like a 15-minute interview
with this like guy, Adam Glynn, who just does like semi-staged interviews on the street.
He denied in the comments, full disclosure, that it was staged, but like, I'm
the
sorry.
The vibes are staged. I'm sorry. Maybe they're not.
It's
maybe
like,
it's not
Kyle,
actually staged.
What are the odds? Do you have any thoughts? And Kyle has lots of thoughts.
I did see one that he like definitely that he did, I think, with Andy Cohen that seemed a lot less staged. And Andy Cohen was like, I don't like TMZ keeps showing up to my son's school and I don't love that.
Yeah.
Like,
this seems like a version of like some of the celebrities call the paparazzi, right? Like he just seems very prepared. This is also something that happened after his divorce with Amanda, where he ran into like a man on the street YouTuber or whatever and gave like a very magnanimous publicist approved like little interview, and I'm like, he keeps in these crucial moments ending up giving like perfectly calibrated man on the street interviews.
Something to consider and think
I'm sure
about.
it's just a coincidence. But in the interview, he really focuses on Amanda and her mental health. He says she's getting cyberbullied. He says Amanda knows what she did was wrong and she's trying to come to terms with it, but she is not well. He says, I'm giving her grace because because I know she, just from a mental standpoint, is fragile. Right now, I'm honestly more concerned about Amanda's mental health, and I'm trying to get to the bottom of it because I'm worried about her. He says she's having dark thoughts. He also says at one point that he's been taking care of her for 10 years, and I was like, what? She's an adult.
I take care of her, and
she's
then
not
I
your
berate
foster
her,
dog.
and
I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, a lot to unpack there.
He really goes in on West, though. He essentially is like, West played Amanda like he plays all women. Why is everyone following him on Instagram? He doesn't deserve Instagram followers.
He's very upset about the Instagram followers.
That's like the main theme. The two main themes of the interview are Amanda's mental health and West shouldn't get any more Instagram followers. Like, people want to see what he does.
At least a few followers after this interview.
I'm sure he did. Well, that's always the kind of balance that audiences are trying to navigate when a public figure is disgraced. Is they're like, I don't want to support them getting brand deals, but I do want to see what they post on their stories right now.
Right. That's the thing. I was like, I think Kyle, probably most people are like following him for research, like to keep up with the scandal.
They want to know where he's going to be seen sunbathing next, because he seems to be having a very chill week. He says, I have a real issue with a dude that manages to use his charm to get whatever he wants, who says the right thing at the right time. I'm not saying that he manipulated Amanda, but she was clearly in a vulnerable spot. He says West seems to be the kind of guy playing multiple women at the same time.
I mean, he does seem to be the kind of guy playing multiple women at the same time.
Yeah.
I also think Kyle is just very mad that West called him out for his treatment of Amanda, and he's like, see, he was bad the whole time.
Yeah,
he was trying to tell me I was bad. It's like, you guys are maybe just like, you know, different fonts of the same man, like 10 years apart. Like, I don't, like,
No, but that's the thing. That's one of the maddening things about Amanda going for West is I'm like, you're going for this guy? It's like everything
just
you
like a
hated about
less-
Kyle, but 10 years younger.
right. He's just like less verbally, like, cruel, I guess.
Yeah, he's less explosive.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't see how you're going to be in a better spot in 10
I
years if you
know.
go for West right now. Like, I guess your type is just dirtbags. But he, Kyle says the whole group has been rocked by this, and he says Carl's a mess.
Carl's a mess.
And this has turned into a meme.
I mean, this was genuinely hilarious because it's just so
It's like,
offhand.
why are we talking about Carl right now?
I mean, he does also, of course, talk about Ciara, and he says, like, they've been in touch and, like,
yeah.
But he's just like, yeah, everyone's been rocked. Carl's a mess. And everyone was
Yeah.
like,
What?
what? And I think even
Okay.
Carl was like,
Like, oh, I'm a mess. Okay.
yeah. And then everyone's just
yeah.
posting, like, Carl's a mess. Carl's a mess. I mean, this was like the one, like, genuinely funny moment of this scandal.
Yeah. And Lindsay and Carl, even though they Lindsay hates Carl, and Carl is always like, maybe Lindsay and I will be friends again soon.
I think they're like good
They've-
now.
They've broken through.
Yeah.
They did an Uber Eats ad together with the tagline delivering cleanup for any mess, and she's like handing him Kleenex as
Yeah,
he
she's
cries.
like, is this soft enough for
Yeah.
you? And it begins with just like text, like, Carl is a mess. And
Yeah.
then Lindsay said in the comments, like, I unblocked Carl for this.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's one part of this is the way that like all of the like white cast members have been like kind of like getting in there, doing like getting their brand deals in there, like making money. And I know like Uber Eats, for example, is a pre-existing contract, but like Ciara has barely posted. She has posted like links for like charitable causes to kind of use this moment to drive attention in that direction. And then all the white cast members are like, make a merch. And like,
I really like truly hope that at least some of these things were like run by Ciara, and we just don't
Yeah.
know
I
right now.
really hope so too, but I also do think that even if that is true, and I do believe that they care about Ciara, I did believe that about Amanda as well. I do believe that they care about Ciara and that they're talking to her about this. Maybe she wants people to take attention off of her. Maybe she is like, go get your bag. I don't know. But what I do know is that this is a moment when Ariana made bank, right? And I feel like I hope that is coming more
it
for
is.
Ciara, but I do feel like it seems to me like she is constrained in a certain way by her understanding of the fact that people will not respond as well to that from her.
Oh, absolutely.
And
She cannot
meanwhile, the white
lean-
cast members
yeah.
are like, yeah,
Go
let
wild.
me go wild with this. And she's like, I'm a good person. Here's a charity. Like, I'm not going to
Trans people
capitalize off of
matter.
it. Right. It's like that. Even here, it feels like the leeway for her is so limited, and she is so aware of that.
Yeah, she cannot lean into the power of this moment in the same way that Ariana could. It's not one-to-one, and that is like definitely very, very clear.
Yeah.
Paige and DeSorbo and Hannah Berner also spoke finally about this situation. I think people were very curious to hear what Paige had to say because she has historically been very close with both Ciara and Amanda. Hannah was once close with Amanda. They had a falling out years ago, I think because of Kyle. But Paige and Amanda were very dear friends, like basically up until this scandal. And they did address it briefly, the scandal briefly, on their episode of Giggly Squad on April 3rd. Paige said, obviously we're alive. We see the internet. We know what's going on. Ciara is our real friend in real life. So we have been talking to her, consoling her. We are behind her 100%. We would never capitalize or monetize off of our friend's heartbreak. And this makes the dynamic you just named even more notable because certainly some members of the current Summer House cast are. And Hannah Berner echoed this sentiment, adding, "We love you, Ciara, as the one and only guest that's ever been on Giggly Squad who's a woman besides a couple cat psychics." And Paige said, "Ciara is a strong, intelligent, capable woman. She will speak her truth when it is her time. I would never speak for her." So it does feel like more is going to come both for and from Ciara, but we are just waiting for the time that she feels is right. So, Claire, where are we at now, and what are we kind of still waiting for, other than perhaps like a big interview from Ciara?
Yeah, I mean, we're waiting for the reunion, obviously. I know there's been a lot of chatter about what that should look like. Should Paige come and just light West and Amanda
I mean,
up?
I wouldn't be
like,
opposed.
Yeah, like I do think that a lot of people are waiting to see how that plays out. And also, like, what is this going to mean for the show? Like, can they keep making the show, or is there too much fragmentation and hurt that like certain central members of the cast won't be welcome back?
They'll be making the show. I don't think that this is a show ending thing. Like,
do you think that West and Amanda will be back?
I think Amanda was sort of being phased out already. Like, I think that's kind of the difference with Vanderpump Rules is that
but how will she be in the city? Because like basically
What do
is
you
Amanda
mean?
so isolated from the social group now that no one on either show will want to film with her?
I think that's TBD, but I think like they've already filmed season 1 of In the
this
City,
season,
right? So
yeah.
so season 1 of In the City is there, and I'm pretty sure they are like trying to they're working on like how they can get some like updated material, because the biggest problem for In the City, I think, is that the central storyline is Kyle and Amanda's separation, and there's going to be a lot less. I mean, in some ways the interest is there, but like a lot of it is known, and also you're not trying to root for Amanda in the same way now, right? I'm also pretty sure that Ciara and West are not like main cast members on the show. It's really anchored around Kyle, Amanda, and Lindsay. But I believe they do make appearances, so we'll see moving forward. There's a lot of time before that next season shoots, so I don't think that like any decisions are going to be made there. And I'm sure that executives are going to see how this season does, what they can get in terms of new material, and like how all of those relationships develop. There's also, of course, a bunch of new cast members being brought onto In the City. So it's like there's other people in that ecosystem in the same way that like Jax could be nixed from the Valley and like it was fine.
Oh yeah, but like, will she be gone though? Like that's kind of what
not
I'm
right.
wondering.
I
I'm wondering
don't-
if West and Amanda will be gone.
I could see West, it being untenable for West to be back on Summer House before I see it like Amanda being axed from In the City, because it's not. I just don't think it's the same thing in terms of like, again, that season's already been locked. They need or not locked, been filmed. They need to start filming the next season of Summer House like soon.
Yeah. No, for sure. For sure.
So that's going to be a lot fresher. That's going to be a
Yeah.
lot more like imminently determined by the dynamics that play out at the reunion and afterwards. And I think that that is an open question. I think it's also an open question of what kind of involvement Ciara wants to have on with reality television moving forward. Like, I do think that they were really setting her up to be the anchor of Summer House. And I think it's an open question of whether she just wants to like leave all of these people in the fucking dust, which would be fair enough. And I do think that she is going to have opportunities where we've already seen the groundwork being laid for this even before this scandal, like with her red carpet hosting. Like, I do think she's going to get a lot of opportunities that could allow her to, like Ariana Madix, kind of transition out of reality television if that's what she wants.
Yeah. I'd love that for her.
Yeah, I would love that for her too. I think it would probably be healthier for her. But I think it's like kind of the ball is going to be kind of in her court, or I would hope it would be. And that those decisions that she makes are going to determine the future of Summer House.
Yeah, 100%. Like I'm definitely just like curious because when Vanderpump Rules blew up, I was like, oh, they're still going to keep making it. But then ultimately, that that show kind of like needed to be fully recast. Like I think sometimes there is a breach that's so deep that it affects the ability to move forward. And I'm like, if I were Ciara, I would be like, well, the very people that I thought I could trust in this house, I couldn't trust. So even the ones who have stuck with me through all this, like I would question like whether I felt safe like being on the show with the rest of them anymore. And like that's just how you protect yourself, right? If like Mia and KJ were going to be some of the more central cast members and they rebuilt the show more around that part of the group rather than like West and Jesse Solomon, who I think can fucking go, like I'm done with them, like maybe that would be something that would work.
Well, exactly. I think that there are a lot of opportunities for the show to be remade. Like there have been some promising new cast members this season that we haven't talked about during this lengthy episode. And like, I'm just saying, I think that there's like a lot more room to get creative with that. It's a different model than VPR.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I think we do have to start wrapping this up because we've been talking for so long. And we have to go see Whitney Levitt on Broadway.
Yeah, we do. Oh my God, we're going to see Whitney Levitt and Mark Ballas on Broadway tonight. We're so excited. But yeah, I think like I just hope for the best for Ciara. I think she should be at 1 million followers. According to Page 6, endorsement opportunities are flooding in. I hope they're the right ones. I hope they're the ones she wants. I hope she gets her bag at every opportunity that she can. As we said, she, like the true queen she is, has been using her stories and the attention to uplift some really important causes, including trans rights, New York City Girl Scout Troop 6000, which serves families living in temporary housing in the New York City shelter system. And I just love that for her. A Dumois blind item even suggested that Rihanna, who, big Bravo fan, and notably unfollowed Amanda Batula, speaks volumes, but still follows Ciara. Apparently, allegedly, this is a blind item, but I want it to be true. Rihanna is allegedly in Ciara's DMs trying to set her up with a performer that seems like it's Michael B. Jordan. And I would love this. I would love this.
Yeah.
Let's manifest this being real for our girl, Ciara.
I want everything to be real for her. It's been a tough week. It's been a tough week for Ciara.
Week for us.
It's been a tough week. But like as much as it's been a tough week for me, I also want to remember that it was also a tough week for Ciara. And I really just want for the audience to keep holding a lot of space for her and her reactions and her feelings about this. Yeah, just for the best outcomes for her here, because ultimately, like, Amanda and West could have potentially just thrown away a lot of huge opportunities through their own choices. And Ciara was put through a lot of emotional pain and humiliation by them, but that could be positioning her to like lose people who were never true supportive friends and to get new opportunities. And so I hope that that is the outcome for her. And I'm going to keep my eye on this. Things are still coming out. The reunion's coming out, and maybe we'll pop in with more.
Maybe we'll check back in. Let us know if you enjoyed this lengthy primer. And on that note, that is it for this episode of Love to See It with Emma and Claire. If you're watching this on YouTube, remember to like and subscribe to our channel.
Love to See It is a presentation of Odyssey. The show is produced by us, Claire Fallon, and Emma Gray. Our production assistant is Tatiana Knies-Smith, who also edits our video. This episode's audio is edited by John Bahar. Our theme music is by Tamar Haviv, and our art is by Aaron Nestor.
If you like our show, remember to follow us, rate us 5 stars, and leave a review. And of course, spread the word to all of your friends about Love to See It.
If you want to get in touch, you can email us at claireandemmapod@gmail.com.
You can also find us on TikTok at Love to See It Pod and on Instagram at Claire and Emma Pod. And you can find our newsletter, Rich Text, on Patreon at patreon.com/richtext. I'm also on Blue Sky at Emma Gray and on Instagram at Emma Lady Rose.
And I'm at Claire E. Fallon. Special thanks to the team at Odyssey, Eric Donnelly, Peter Arriaga, Kate Rose, Moira Curran, Melissa Wester, and Hillary Schiff.
We'll be back soon.
Can you keep